Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn.
Beautiful morning.
Good Monday afternoon to you, and I hope you've enjoyed the tournament so far. From 68 teams down to 16, and 2 weeks from today, we'll be down to 2, and they'll be down in New Orleans. Good afternoon. Welcome into Sports Time from the Flynn Broadcasting Studios and from the Family Leisure Studios. We welcome you in, and we've been away for a while, and we're so glad to be back. When we were last here, a lot of things have changed since that time. On this Monday, March 21st, we welcome you in. Bryant Dacus co-hosting with me. You normally hear and see Bryant as the producer today. The producer is Jay Morgan Harder. As Big Gabe Kuhn is out all this week on vacation. We wish him well. Gabe has knocked me off my ledge, my throne. I'm out. He's got me on the bracket.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
already
he does
dormant.
Oh, you think you're done?
I know.
Good.
I'm dormant. No matter what happens the rest of the way, at minimum, he wins by one, and he takes that win and takes it off on vacation with him.
He also takes bankroll.
He's
He's on a roll.
He takes bankroll.
Did he take? Did he take he did the bowl games too? Didn't he?
He took
the
bowl
that.
games.
He's been
from
on
me.
a roll.
I had never lost a bowl. Both of those. He does me like that and heads off on vacation. But we welcome you in, and we will talk a lot of college basketball. There's a lot of things going on from the rest of the sports world. Some significant signings in Major League Baseball. I thought the golf was really good over the weekend. The NFL with enough news to fill a show. But today, it is going to be about the NCAA tournament. It will be about a lot about the Tigers and their really good showing out in Portland. Take care of Boise quite easily, and then have the number one team in the country that I think now, after tasting their own blood, will go right on and win it all. We'll talk a lot about the Tigers. We'll talk a lot about Tennessee. We'll talk a lot about the Razorbacks advancing. And, yes, I will get around to talking a lot about John Calipari. I don't know if we get that all in today, but we're going to try to get most of it in. We will start with a lot of Tigers, and we want your thoughts at 901-360-8255. It's the AutoZone text line, it's the AutoZone listener line. Give us a call, give us a text, give us a tweet at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone. David Cobb at 4 o'clock from CBS Sports, like he is with us throughout the year. At 4:30, Shelby Mass from BracketWag.com and the USA Today, the official bracketologist for them. What went right, what went wrong in the seeding? And I have some thoughts about that concerning the Big Ten and the SEC. Some serious metrics need to be evaluated on both of them getting annually, arguably, too many bids. At 4:30, at Shelby will be with us at 4:30. At 5 o'clock, DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal on the beat covering the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies with a great win yesterday. Not so good trip to Atlanta, but all in all, 3-1 on the roadie, setting up home Wednesday night against Brooklyn, and games this weekend, and then a week from tonight, the big one against Golden State. That now with an injury to Steph, it looks like the 2 is definitely attainable for the Grizzlies. But we want your input today. We will keep it mostly Tigers, if not entirely Tigers, this first hour, and then David Cobb's thoughts about that. So a lot of Tiger talk. Bryant Dacus, I know you share what a lot of people are feeling. That was a prideful performance.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I knew that they'd keep up pace of play. You knew they were going to rub it down. But the first half they had, I mean, I don't think you could have asked for a better first half from the Tigers at all.
They look like what we've been waiting on all year. The aggravating thing for that, yes, Coach Hardaway deserves a ton of credit for getting the car back on the road, because it was
bad. Yeah.
I mean, it was still this year a lot of losses, losses for the Tigers this year, but he got it righted. Deserves credit for that. But I have said a couple times this year I don't want to give too much credit to putting out the fire that he started. But he put it out and got it righted. How do you feel about when people say the Tigers are back? Do you feel that?
Oh, that's a tough question. I mean, they're on the right path, I think. I mean, I think when you look at it and you talk about how long they haven't been into the tournament and then making it back this year, I think that's a big part. I think it's what he does after this. What does he do in the offseason? Does he bring back a lot of that roster? Does he bring in some transfers, some recruits? I think we'll really know the answer to that question after we see what he does in the offseason.
But a step forward. I still think this program is lacking that one giant leap for mankind.
Yeah.
I think it still is lacking that big step, but it was good. I do not want to rain on it, what occurred over the weekend, but I'm not in the Tigers are back because if being back is one win and then one loss and you're out before the second weekend, that's back to what Josh had.
That's true.
I mean, Josh did that.
It also helps to see some consistency, too. You know, if we were to see this exact thing
next year.
Yeah. And also, to me, Brett, I know the expectations were so high, but I think also that if you just go by what you saw the first game of the season or the first 5 games of the season and say that's what the team was, and you look at the way they are now, that certainly is improvement. I'm not sure you've seen that kind of improvement in previous seasons under the tenure of Penny Hardaway.
And this might be jumping too far ahead. What do you think the expectations are going to be next season?
The same.
You think they're going to be
It's Tigers basketball.
That's
high?
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's Tigers basketball with Penny Hardaway as the coach, so they're going to be high. We don't want the bar lower, do we?
I would like the bar lower.
I mean, maybe not national championship Final
Far
Four.
lowered or a little more realism.
Well, yeah.
A little more realism.
That's right.
I say, I mean, if we're looking at Sweet 16 as our expectations or Elite 8, that'd be better than
because
national
remember,
championship.
the Tigers
or
this
best
year,
case scenario.
Preseason, they were ranked 12th in the AP. And on Monday, November 22nd, that day I asked y'all, does that day mean anything to y'all? Y'all said no. On that day, November 22nd, which means a lot to my generation, the Tigers were 9th. They were ranked 9th. So go from November 22nd, ranked 9th, to today being Monday, March 21st, and the we're back stuff, I don't get that.
No, I don't either. I think it was a lot of hope and then a lot of downfall. Not downfall, but, you know, a lot of injury. I think injuries did play a role into it.
It sure did.
But at the same time, there were a lot of games they probably shouldn't have lost in that stretch.
I went over the losses for the Tigers this year. I ranked the 11 losses from the best loss to the worst loss.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I had.
Hold on, I want to pull up the schedule real
Please
quick.
Do. 901-360-8255. I want people to weigh in at the AutoZone text line. Are they back? Do you think the Tigers are back? Just simply yes or no, or expound on it, explain if you would like. So I have Gonzaga as the number one best loss. Gonzaga's literally just got the mouthpiece knocked out, tasted their own blood, told the corner man to cut them, Burgess Meredith cut them, and they're going to be fine, and they're going to roll the rest of the way. Sorry, Razorback friends, you're going to get the Gonzaga in prime form Thursday night in San Francisco. It's going to be rough on you. So Gonzaga's the number one loss. I have Houston as the number two loss.
Yeah.
Houston to another Sweet 16. You want to talk about somebody that's back?
Ooh.
The Houston Cougar program under Kelvin Sampson, they haven't been – they went to the Final Four last year. They hadn't been to the final game like Phi Slamma Jamma did under Guy V and Akeem Olajuwon. But it's everything but that as far as being back and maybe even better. Number 3 loss, Iowa State. They're in the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
We look back on that. I kind of crushed that loss.
Yeah.
When we got back in here on that Monday, November 29th, after that. That wasn't so bad, was it?
It really wasn't, no.
Number 4 loss, Murray State.
Yeah.
Everybody there? Any disagreement?
The only thing I have about Iowa State is certainly a different team you could say now, but also 20 points, too. That's a big margin.
That was a big margin.
And that's probably why it felt so bad when you got home.
All right, 5 and 6, take your pick on SMU.
Yeah.
Probably number 5 losing at Moody, 6 losing at home, whatever. You can flip-flop them. 7, Central Florida.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
8, Tulane.
I love Tulane, though.
I do like Tulane.
I love Tulane.
Yeah.
But Central Florida, both of those on the road, so either way, I like that.
9, Ole Miss. 10, Georgia.
The Rebels are played so much better for me down the stretch, too. I really, honestly, like all these losses, Brett. Except for Georgia.
Except for Georgia.
And East Carolina.
Any team with Memphis on the front of the uniform should go to Tulane and East Carolina and win.
Yeah.
Tulane, though, Brett. Tulane is really – I love
Make the
Tulane.
argument, Jay Morgan.
Well, Ron Hunter, I mean, that's a good program he's building there.
He's turning it around.
But I understand your
Let's
point.
don't make him into John.
Yeah, I was about to say, I understand your point.
I mean, and I was at that game. The Tigers didn't even.
Oh yeah, you were at that game.
They had a lot of injuries. They had a lot of injuries that night, and it was so much noise going on around the program that night. It didn't resemble that Saturday.
Yeah,
that's
not at all. Not at all.
That Saturday was what we
that's
thought
what
opening night was going to look like. Well, opening night did look like that, pounding Tennessee Tech.
What were the best? I have two in mind. The two best crowds of the year. What were the best crowds of the year for Memphis games? Do you think home games?
Houston
for sure.
Alabama.
Alabama was the other one I think of.
I wasn't at the Alabama game. I was at the Houston game, and it rocked.
It
felt like it should.
Alabama was Alabama a weeknight too?
Yeah, but it was
Tuesday night.
A whiteout game. It was packed.
It was
packed.
It was a good crowd.
So we have that. We'll have a lot of Tiger discussion. We want it, and we're going to get to Tennessee. We're going to get to Arkansas in the Sweet 16. You want to talk about people or something being back. Eric Musselman in 3 years wins 20 year one, wins on Wednesday night in the SEC tournament. COVID breaks out, tournament canceled. I don't know what he had done the rest of the way. Probably wouldn't have squeezed into the NC tournament. They weren't that good. And then year 2 goes the Elite 8. Year 3 goes the Sweet 16 at minimum. That is being back. And I will contend that the Arkansas program was more in the ditch that he took over than the one that Penny Hardaway took over from Tuppy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and you look, I've talked about this a lot. I don't think that roster was terrible that Penny Hardaway took over, and he was able to kind of develop it a little bit. Those guys grew older. I definitely think that was a better job than Arkansas at the time.
Yeah, and Arkansas before last year, they had won the fewest number of NCAA tournament games in the 21st century than anyone in the SEC except for Georgia.
Good company.
Really?
Not good company. and for Eric Musselman, he now has won more games in 2 years in 2 NCAA tournaments than all the other coaches between him and Coach Richardson. Stan Heath, John Pelfrey, Dana Altman for a day and a half.
Wow.
If that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
He got there and didn't learn how to call the hogs and got the heck out of Dodge. and then Mike Anderson, he's already eclipsed. He's already topped them since Nolan left. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. Protect yourself against upsets this March into the Sweet 16 with bracket parlay insurance on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, all customers can get up to $25 back each day if your parlay of 3 legs or more falls 1 leg shy. Build your parlay based on the teams that are playing on Thursday or Friday. My 3-teamer, I've already gave it away. I think Gonzaga really paced Arkansas. That's the first game on Thursday. I like Texas Tech straight up against Duke on Thursday, and I love Houston to pull the upset over Arizona. Parlays are great because you can turn a small bet into a big payday. And with cash out, the ball's in your court, so you can close out your bet whenever you want before the game is even over. New to FanDuel, sign up with promo code CASH. Then you can bet the bracket all tournament long. That's promo code CASH at the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. If exactly 1 leg loses, refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. NCAA tournament SBK wager required. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the great people at Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2022 flagship LS500, and you'll be looking and driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and that makes for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com, 901-334-9673. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, it was a great weekend in sports, Brett. From obviously March Madness, the NIT, don't look over the NIT, some MLB spring training games started, some golf. Me and Jay Morgan were on the F1 and NASCAR all weekend. Yeah, we were.
I heard Jay Morgan go F1 this morning.
But the real biggest story of the day, top story of the day, is the St. Peter's Peacocks strutting into the Sweet 16. They beat number 2 seed Kentucky 85-79 in overtime. I thought Kentucky was going to win that one in overtime, and then wound up beating Murray State 70-60 in the round of 32. We've been kind of high on the Peacocks all season. We've talked a lot about them, and now they're in the Sweet 16.
And you know, this year in the MAAC, Kentucky fans, if you just need something else to make it grind a little deeper and a little bit more painful for you, Rick Pitino and Iona beat St. Peter's not once but twice this year. And St. Peter's lost in December. They lost to Stony Brook.
That's right. And St. Francis of New York.
Yeah.
St. Francis, New York nickname? They're not the Blackbirds, are they? That's Long Island, isn't it?
They're the Terriers.
The Terriers, yes.
The Northeast Conference.
Ooh, boy, St. Peter's. What a story, though.
Yeah.
And I don't know what kind of – they have no chance against Purdue, do they?
I want to believe.
You have to believe
You got to.
My top story, Tigers win their first NCAA tournament game since 2014, but they failed to advance to the Sweet 16. Haven't been to the Sweet 16 since 2009, John Calipari's last game in that loss to Mike Anderson and the Missouri Tigers. Next year at NCAA tournament time, it'll be 14 years since the last Sweet 16 appearance. 17 since the last Elite 8 appearance. I hear from Penny and from all the smart kids that cover Tiger basketball that Tigers basketball, that it's back. Back to what? Where Josh got it too? You will know when Tiger basketball is back when you hear people stop debating whether it's back or not. It will speak for itself. Ask Texas football about the whole we're back conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember in 2005, I go to an Alabama game and Mike Shula puts it on Urban Meyer. Beats them 38-0, 38-10, something like that. Cover of Sports Illustrated that Monday had Brody Kroll on the cover. Bama's back. They weren't back.
No.
They weren't back. They didn't get back for 4 or 5 more years after that.
Yeah.
And when they got back, you knew it. Nobody had to tell you.
Not top story of the day.
Well, Brett, I made the Tigers my not top story of the day because it was kind of bittersweet. It was fun getting to that round of 32, playing top seed Gonzaga, but ultimately they lost. They just couldn't do enough down the stretch. I know we're going to get to it a little more in the next segment. I'm not going to blame officiating. I've seen a lot of people blame officiating. I didn't think it was that bad. I think it was more you gave up a scoring drought. Drew Timme went crazy, and a lot of people aren't talking about it. Andrew Nembhard knocked down 5 threes in that game. I think that's why you lost to Gonzaga. And Gonzaga, they're the best team in the country.
Yeah, they are. They were the heavy favorite to win it. Let me ask you guys this. Y'all think Mark Few gets that elder statesman cozy treatment by media and by officials?
Maybe a little bit. I don't think much, if any.
Well, we know he got it by the media, and we know when he got it.
Yeah.
He got it last summer.
That's true.
Over a DUI incident. I don't think he should have been stoned and ran out of coaching, but we know a lot of coaches that wouldn't have got that pass.
That's very true.
And the other night, he gets a technical for pointing at the Jumbotron, showing the ref up, and then the refs take the powder and assign it to the assistant, so if he got another one as the game went on, he wouldn't be tossed.
I didn't think about that.
I mean, for a guy that has no titles, a lot of winning, great program, and the times I've been around him here at NCAA tournaments and other places, great guy. And I took up for him last summer. Remember?
You did, yeah.
That I didn't think he should be crushed. Mm-hmm. Penny Hardaway got crushed over saying a bad word, not a DUI.
Yeah.
I mean, do you think Penny Hardaway would get that pass?
I don't think so.
I think Lane Kiffin would get that pass.
Oh, absolutely not.
Breaking news tonight in Oxford was that. You think he'd get the pass
absolutely
Mark Few got?
No.
I think Mark Few needs to get his time.
I think you're right.
My not top story, Rick Barnes. In 7 years at Tennessee, not much. Another ugly NC tournament exit after all that whining about where you were seated. Sweet 16 in 2019, that was good. SEC tournament win this year, real good. But it hadn't been nothing for Rick Barnes at Tennessee. It just hadn't been a lot. Tennessee's, they've been really proud over very little in both big sports, football and in basketball of late. Whined about the Music City Bowl and the referees against Purdue. We know about the Ole Miss game last year and now a second round NCAA tournament loss. Good news today on the Tennessee football front, a legitimate 5-star commitment at quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think it's coming around at Tennessee. But Rick Barnes, I'm afraid, is this guy, and a guy I love. Went to his basketball camp when I was 13 years old. Great coach. You love him in charge of your program. Gonna win a lot. Never could win it all. Eddie Sutton.
Yeah.
He's John Chaney.
Yeah.
Great coaches, but will they ever win it all? And for Rick Barnes, he had the team this year to do it, and I had them going a lot further than they did.
Oh, I did too.
And what Michigan did to them offensively, they got anything they wanted.
Oh, yeah.
They got anything they wanted whenever they wanted. We will continue the Tiger Talk most of the rest of this hour. David Cobb with us at 4. Shelby Mass with us at 4:30. DeMichael Cole will join us to start the 5 o'clock hour. This is Sports Time, and you're listening to Sports Time on Sports 56.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes from Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now an NCAA tournament schedule preview sponsored by Geico. The first weekend of March Madness in the books, and now it's on to the regionals. This Thursday, the action will come from San Francisco and San Antonio, and then on Friday, the men's spotlight moves to Philadelphia and Chicago. Plus, women's regional action kicks off on Friday from Greensboro and Spokane. Stay tuned for Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here.
To show you how easy it is to file a claim with Geico, we hired a nature show host.
In the native habitat of a suburban driveway, the poor victim of a broken windshield is left assessing his vehicle, utterly helpless.
Well, not true. If he's got Geico, he can file a claim online, over the phone, or with his handy mobile app.
But like a lone gazelle, he'll suddenly be left to fend for himself, awaiting his terrible fate.
Nope. Geico will assign him a designated claims team to help him out, too.
So the gazelle gets his car fixed and everything. Wow, nature is so cool.
Geico. Great service without all the drama.
Knotfest Roadshow is back.
Of the moderate me.
This Tuesday, FedEx Forum, featuring Slipknot.
I'll never kill myself to see my soul.
Plus special guests in this moment and wage war. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Visit NotFestRoadshow.com for more.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
We will miss Gabe all week. He is on vacation. Bryant Dake is co-hosting with me. Jay Morgan Harder producing, doing an outstanding job, pulling the long day, the long week. We appreciate it so much. And I knew this would be a great week. When Gabe hit me 6 weeks ago, hey, you mind? I said, no, I never mind. Anytime somebody tells me about vacation, the only thing I send back to them, sounds great, have fun.
Have fun.
That's the only thing, because I must tell you, that's all I want to hear when I say I'm going to be away. But when he said that, I said it'll be a fun week because I knew it'd be when it's boiled down to 16, and it is. And unfortunately, the Tigers are not one of the 16, but after an outstanding performance against properly rated Gonzaga.
Oh, yeah.
They are all that.
Oh, no, they're a great team. I've been watching them all season. They a lot of people talk about their front court, but their guards are extremely good.
And that ended up being the difference. Their guards, it was all the difference. Their guards, their wings. But Penny Hardaway was not out-coached. Over the course of the year, Jay Morgan and I were talking about this even before you got here today. I think Penny Hardaway grew more this year as a head coach from opening night to last game than he had over the 3 previous years in total.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's seen more adversity this season.
And that's what brought it out. I mentioned earlier, used the boxing corollary about tasting your own blood. I think Penny Hardaway this year, not that the honeymoon ended, nobody wants it to end.
No.
People want it to continue. They want it to flourish. They want it. We want to rekindle vows.
Oh, yeah.
But this year, he saw around town and heard some people he thought were more firmly in his camp than that turn on him ever so slightly. At 9-8, what do you expect?
Yeah.
At 9-8, and with some of those losses, I was critical, and
I think we all were,
and I like him a lot. I also think this year we saw on display the full depth and breadth of Larry Brown.
Oh, yeah.
And that is not a criticism. Anybody that would take that as a criticism, please don't. Because on Larry Brown's door at the University of Memphis, I assume he has an office. I don't. If he
I would hope so.
If he has business cards, I'm sure it says assistant coach.
Oh, yeah.
And he was assisting. He is there to help. That they didn't bring him in to help Pouncer. They brought him in to help
the team. Yeah,
they didn't bring him in to be a round town front man, salesman. They brought him in to help.
Yeah.
And he did. And Coach Hardaway, sharp enough, smart enough to accept that.
Yeah.
And I think also to your point, you saw that when he was willing to say those things, and you saw visually Penny kind of be more accepting of that kind of criticism or coaching or whatever. You saw it trickle down to other coaches. I think he listened to Cody Toppert throughout the year way more than he did at the beginning, certainly more than he listened to other assistants in previous years, and I do think that's a positive. Now, like kind of what we were saying earlier about we'd like to see some consistency with that, I'd love to see how that looks next year when presumably Larry Brown isn't here anymore. Right. Who knows if Cody Toppert's here or not? Who knows what the staff looks like? But I do think, like you said, it's not a criticism to say it's really good that he is so accepting of his assistant coaches now, because I do think that might have been a criticism of his coaching prior to that.
Well, and I think you saw it more in his really all the coaches' body languages at the game. I think at the beginning of the season, they weren't as much talking as a group, and then as the season came down, I mean, every single time it seems like they go down the court, Cody Toppert gets up and says something to Penny. Penny kind of looks and goes, okay, yeah. And then you see them make adjustments.
And you were at every game. You saw every play of every home game. Bryant was all over it all year. And I think everybody is painfully aware or happily aware that you saw the growth in Penny Hardaway as a head coach. And also – I talk about the laps around the track, and you have to have them. There's nothing like experience.
Oh, yeah.
And he's gaining it. All this should serve the future very well. We want your comments. We want your thoughts at 901-360-8255. 82 for Gonzaga, 78 for the Tigers. Tigers had a 10-point lead at halftime, got it to 12 briefly to start the second half, and then here come the Zags. Here comes Gonzaga. You knew they would, and it was led by Drew Timme. Chet Holmgren, I don't think, wanted a lot of it. I think the limited time that Jalen Duren was in there in his 19 minutes, he had Chet Holmgren looking over his shoulder.
Yeah, and I really liked the game plan that they came out with. It was try to get it inside, pound the paint, and try to get Chet Holmgren in foul trouble, and it worked. The only problem is on the other side, DeAndre Williams and Jalen Duren were also getting into foul trouble. So when you saw Chet go to the bench, Jalen was going to the bench, and so you really couldn't take advantage of that. I really would have liked to seen if they could have gotten him into foul trouble and those two not gotten in foul trouble, if they could have kept the pressure on and gotten even more a bigger lead.
On the calls, much disputed, and I think the referees, they had a very heavily criticized weekend. I don't go there.
All over, really.
All over they did, and even last night with the
TCU game.
The TCU game to end the weekend, I was almost comatose during that on a school night after that much basketball. I didn't know whether it was coming or going. But then one of the more egregious calls of the weekend was the technical for hanging.
That was ridiculous
on the rim.
I didn't know we called those anymore.
Why do we? I mean,
he wasn't even really hanging on it. He was just trying to get his momentum,
It was to save from being a quadriplegic the rest of his life. I don't know why that was called, but the refs have a tough job, made tougher by the replays. One of the bigger 50,000-foot views for me from the weekend, way too many reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Way too many showing the coach's wife in the stands when we go all year and you don't know
Coach
what she
K,
looks like.
We saw his wife probably 30 times yesterday.
Well, we knew we'd see that. And then to see Shaheen Holloway's wife for St. Peter's, okay, I can, but why so much of that when we go all year and you don't know they're around and you shouldn't? Don't put them. I don't think you should put them through that torment. They're already living a life. The good's real good, but they haven't seen that guy down on the sideline since October.
Oh, yeah.
Is that about right, Jay Morgan?
I think you're right.
With your experience in coaching?
I will say, too, though, sometimes, like the husband and wife, it's kind of like a team effort. But like you said, that doesn't mean you need to focus on them in the stands. They have a difficult enough time living and dying with each game with their husband coaching or whatever the case might be. It's just not necessary.
Did y'all think at any point the Tigers had Gonzaga?
No.
I didn't. I really didn't.
I mean, I think namely because Gonzaga responds so well, and that doesn't just mean like they want it more.
Well,
but
like, their pace is so fast, too.
They adjust so well to what their opponents do. And the whole time, even when Memphis is up 10, I'm like, we haven't seen any adjustments yet from Gonzaga. And to their credit, when they did adjust and start getting the ball out and going on Memphis didn't really adjust back, and that was really the difference in the game for me.
23 fouls for Memphis, 16 called on Gonzaga. For the Tigers on the season, 33 games. In those 33 games, the Tigers had more fouls called on them in 17 games. They had less fouls than the opponent in 15 and tied in one game. So 17 to 15 to 1. The Tigers fouled a lot all year.
They foul a lot, yeah. Especially in the front court. It's all the time.
And in that front court, I thought one of the critical points of the game was just dunk the ball for Earl Timberlake.
Mm-hmm. I mean, what was he trying to do? I mean, it kind of looked like he kind of maybe lost it and then tried to put it back up. You said on the break that you thought he was trying to do a little bit more.
I thought he was going to try. I think he was trying to do a dunk contest.
That's if you're trying to do that in that spot. That's
just dunk it.
Maybe it was nerves because he was thinking about doing that, and as a result, he just totally lost the ball.
Lost it.
Pure speculation on my part, but I just catch the ball
and
put
throw
it in the
down. Yeah,
because you got to have it go through the net because that game was going to come down to little things.
Mm-hmm.
As pulling off the giant killer does. 2-1s advance or 3-1s advance with Gonzaga, Arizona, and Kansas advancing. Baylor did not. Baylor comes back from 25 down, and they go to overtime against North Carolina, defending champion by one of the bluest of blue bloods of all time. But I still think, and this is not just hometown where I am, I thought the best game of the weekend was Gonzaga and Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
If you were watching that game in Prudhomme Bay, Alaska, you were riveted by that action.
Yeah, and I mean, like you were talking about how far the Tigers have come, how far Penny Hardaway has come as a coach, I think that shows a lot just how well they played a team like Gonzaga who, I mean, I don't know about you, Jay Morgan. I know, Brett, me and you have them winning the national championship. So to be able to go up and lead by 10 at halftime, that's pretty big. And I'm excited to see what he can do to build off it.
Mark Few was rattled.
Oh, he was very rattled, especially, in those last couple minutes of the first half. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
As he should have. That was a great matchup. No matter how good you think the Tigers are, no matter how far you think they can go, there's no doubt that matchup with Jalen Duren on the floor posed, and DeAndre Williams, honestly, to give him credit, posed a big matchup problem for the Gonzaga Bulldogs.
We know Jalen Duren is on his way to the NBA.
Yeah.
We also know that Jalen Duren right now should be being celebrated winning a state high school basketball championship.
2 for 2.
Well, I mean, what a contrast that is. I'm going to go ahead and unfurl it on there. I'm going to do it. I've texted it to people. I've told people if you ever show this text to anybody, I'll swear.
Oh, I'm excited.
I never sent it. With the work and the fortune of injury-free, Jalen Duren put in the work. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be exactly this guy. And I'm not saying he's going to make $400 million from basketball that this guy close enough made. But with the work, grow into those feet, grow into those hands, work on that shot, the mobility come. Remember, he should be a senior in high school like this person was at Farragut High School in Chicago. He's got the look someday that he can be a Kevin Garnett type player.
Wow.
That's a really good comparison.
Yeah.
I've always said Dwight Howard. He reminds me so much of Dwight Howard.
I think you'd take Dwight Howard's bankroll.
I tell you,
yeah.
and people forget really. I mean, Dwight Howard obviously didn't age very gracefully, but that might be some of his own fault as well. He was one of the most dominant players in the NBA for a period of time.
Superman.
His offensive skills never formidable, but good enough. Stickbacks, dunks, things like that. I think Duren can really develop a sharp game with a lot of work.
Oh, yeah.
To your credit saying that, I mean, you might think this is silly, but the way he developed just shooting free throws this year shows his ability, not only work ethic, but to develop skills that he didn't previously have, and I think that's a really good sign for NBA scouts.
Now, any comparison to a guy that's in the Hall of Fame and just had his number 5 retired by the Boston Celtics, a legend in Minneapolis with his number 21 retired there,
big comparisons.
It can go really wrong.
Yeah, it definitely can.
It can go really wrong. I was listening to a Cardinal baseball game one night.
Go Cards.
When Jack Buck said that Brian Jordan was going to be the next Willie Mays. If Jack Buck can miss that badly, Soaking out. We take this break. When we come back, we want your text at 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at the AutoZone text line. This is Sports Time.
The all-new Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Brought to you by Action 24/7, James Gaddis Jewelers, and Acura of Memphis. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
So you're finally going back to work in your actual office in actual downtown Memphis. That means it's time to get back in the habit of making yourself happy by going to happy hour. And there's no better happy hour downtown than at 117 Prime. The executive happy hour at 117 Prime has it all. From $5 glasses of house wines to $5 craft cocktails, $3 domestics and local beers, paired with the best oyster bar anywhere in town and the happy hour specials from the best chefs in town. And you've got the recipe for the perfect happy hour. And the only place for the perfect happy hour every weekday is 117 Prime.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
You want a silencer for your gun or rifle, but don't want to have to wait a year to get approved? With Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville, the electronic filing takes only about 90 days for approval. They do it all in one place with their state-of-the-art fingerprinting kiosk. And if you've never seen a silencer, they have over 100 in stock. So go buy Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville and get started on protecting your hearing with a silencer today. It also can help you reduce recoil and improve accuracy. Tell them Eli sent you.
Get in the swing of things, grab your friends, your clients, your employees, and go enjoy everything you love about Topgolf in a luxury suite while at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Topgolf Swing Suite is an immersive social experience offering guests a luxury private lounge to enjoy Erling Jensen's extraordinary food and beverage service, all while playing a selection of games in a one-of-a-kind simulation day. Topgolf Swing Suites are great for work outings, celebrations, or just getting together. It's fun for the whole family. It's fun for golfers and non-golfers alike. They have more than just golf. They have soccer, baseball, zombie dodgeball, football, and more. Located at 5069 Sanderlin, adjacent to the Doubletree East Memphis. Check us out at SwingSuiteMemphis.com or call us at 901-58-SWING. Again, that's 901-58-SWING at Memphis' only Topgolf Swing Suite at Erling Jensen's Small Bites. Book your suite today.
What's happening Mid-South? Are you ready for a new ride from Gossett Kia on the Pike? We Gossett covered. Take your pick, 2022 Kia Soul LX or 2022 Kia Forte LSX. We Gossett at $199 for 36-month lease, $27.99 due at signing. And let your adventure begin in 2022 Kia Sorento LX. $299 for 36-month lease and $39.99 due at signing. Plus Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. You gotta make your move today to Gossett Kia on the Pike. Come see Bobby J. He'd love to put you in a new Kia today. That's Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 at KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
12 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sold in 7/18/2252. MSRP $20,960. Forte NE $461,574. MSRP $20,770. Sorrento $899,0199. MSRP $32,120. Includes all rebates and incentives. $695 PF. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/4/2022 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
We welcome you back to the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Spring, it's here. Come to Family Leisure now to get started on your outdoor living space. Pools are in stock and ready to purchase. All new 2022 patio furniture. It's hitting the floor daily. In-stock hot tubs ready for delivery. Great deals on play gyms, trampolines, grills, and outdoor kitchens. All at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Bryant Dacus in with me this week as Gabe is taking a week off, and we want your input. J. Morgan Harder doing a great job producing, and he will all week as he does all the time here at this radio station. We want your input at 901-360-8255. Gonzaga, at the end of this tournament, when one shining moment is playing, when they win 2 weeks from tonight, you will hear and you'll see printed quotes of Memphis helped us win this tournament.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I mean, because you looked at it, they didn't have, even though they won by almost maybe more than 20 in their first game against Georgia State, it wasn't a great performance. Wasn't easy at all. And obviously, Memphis gave them everything they wanted. I think they've got to get better at the free throw line.
Won by 21. You know what that point spread was?
Oh, it was
20.5.
Ooh, wow. Wow. So just got there.
Yeah, that was in my law of large numbers 3-game parlay last week, remember?
I do remember. I stayed far away from that one.
But Gonzaga will look back because you can go through – there's been a couple of easy walks of the tournament. I thought North Carolina in 2009, and they came through Memphis punching a ticket to the Final Four that year. I thought it was fairly easy on them that year. 2012 for John Calipari and Kentucky down in New Orleans, fairly easy. Yeah. But most years – that team that wins it all, it has to have that near-death experience.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think you're right. I think the Tigers will give it, like you said earlier, they'll get Auburn this weekend, and it's
Arkansas.
Or Arkansas, sorry. I'm so sorry.
You could also say maybe that's what the road for Gonzaga looks like, because first-round game 2 was a little bit scary where they were tied at halftime and that one are up by 2 or something. I think we were tied. But still scary game. So maybe that's just what the road looks like for Gonzaga is near-death experiences.
Yeah. You have to have it. And
just got to win.
I think back. Now, Arkansas didn't win. They were the defending champions in 95 and should have lost in the first round to a 15 seed to Texas Southern. Ball's in the air at the buzzer, and it hit every part of the iron and fell off. And then we're fortunate in the next game, Syracuse had the timeout when they didn't have any, so it was technical. They win that. Then the game against Memphis in Kansas City, and then they got UVA, and then they got out to Seattle, and they couldn't complete it, but that was his defending champions. But you have to have those games that you really kind of get the hide knocked off your knees.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. But, I mean, do you think Arkansas will keep it close with Gonzaga, or do you think it's just going to be a
close enough? Tell me, can Arkansas score enough? Can Arkansas get a game above 65?
Yeah.
I mean, if you get the more north of 65 you get, I think Gonzaga puts it on.
Oh, 100%.
Because Arkansas can have scoring drought problems, but we still want to concentrate on the Tigers and their game against Gonzaga. I thought Landers Nolly didn't come up big enough.
No, and we talked about it last week.
Didn't come up big enough.
He's kind of struggled a little bit during the conference tournament, and obviously yesterday against Gonzaga. I'll give him a lot of credit. I thought Malcolm Dandridge gave him some good minutes. The only thing is he was gassed. I mean, he was done.
I mean, he could not move. He was so tired.
He was walking up the court half the time.
Yeah, I mean, he was almost getting lapped back and forth on trips. He was seeing it come in both directions.
But
that's why it was so effective, Gonzaga going fast on him. Why didn't teams do that in this league? I just don't understand it. Why did it take for Gonzaga to make a halftime adjustment for someone to get going on them?
Well, now, Jay Morgan, in fairness, what team in the American
that's true.
can really replicate that?
I mean, no doubt.
I mean, you can't ask I mean, you can't ask Temple to do that.
You're right, but also to an extent, it's just also a mindset, kind of like defense, of just let's get the ball out and we got to go. At least attempt it to get going. But you are right. I mean, it's a whole different animal when you're playing with Gonzaga.
Well, and I think another thing is Memphis plays that press so well. I think Gonzaga has the athletes to get out of that press. So.
You're right, but that's letting the press get set up too, and other teams just let that ball bounce after a make. Get that ball out and you got to go. And Gonzaga did such a good job of that. I'm surprised we just haven't seen that before then.
All right, I listed the Tigers' losses. Here's my opinion of the 10 best wins. Number 1, Houston at Houston.
Yes.
Number 2, Houston at FedEx Forum. Number 3, and didn't this one hold up? And I think it kept this win and the next one. The next one is Alabama, but this win, Virginia Tech, it kept the net boosted when you were 9-8.
Yeah.
So number 3, Virginia Tech. Number 4, Alabama. 5, SMU at the American Tournament. 6, way back in November. Way back on Tuesday night, November 16th.
Oh.
A pretty easy win over Travis Ford and SLU. Number 7, Boise at the tournament. And that was all Tigers all day. It was never a time you thought that game was going to wiggle off the hook, did you?
No. I thought they had that the whole time.
For a lot of the game, it looked like copy and paste from the NIT game against Boise last year. Number 8 big win, Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Rick Stansberry. Pretty good team.
That was another one that was back in November.
Above Tulane.
You love Tulane.
I love Tulane.
I don't have Tulane on my neck.
I was afraid you didn't.
Number 9, New Year's Day morning, I'm getting ready to go to the Ole Miss Sugar Bowl, and I'm thinking, I don't know if I trust the Tigers at all this year after seeing what they did against Tulane in Tulane and the blowout at Wichita State.
Yeah,
and then I came in here with New Year's happy talk.
Yeah. I mean, we turned the season around at that point.
And number 10 for me, the win at Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Not great, but good.
No, but
good enough. Yeah. No, and what about that? What about that tournament? Are you not doing tournament too? Like a conference tournament. That conference tournament went over SMU.
He had SMU.
I had that 5th.
Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that one.
I had that 5th. I had that after Virginia Tech and Alabama. Again, Houston, Virginia Tech, Bama, SMU, SLU, Boise, Western Kentucky, at Wichita State, at Cincinnati. That's a pretty good roster of wins.
It is.
But that roster of losses, I mean, you get to 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Central Florida, Tulane, Ole Miss, Georgia, and East Carolina. That's dreadful.
Yeah.
You have 2 of those back.
Oh,
and it's probably a seed improvement, and you avoid Gonzaga.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I have to agree, honestly. Iowa State especially. But you could really do without those road away losses. I know it's injuries or whatever. You got to get rid of those.
Oh, yeah.
You got to get rid of those.
Should a team with Memphis across the jersey at home, it should always beat Murray State. True or false?
True.
Jay?
True. That's right.
Took you a minute.
It is true.
Yeah, it's true.
So you take that home loss to them and just two of those ugly roadies, Tulane, Ole Miss, Georgia, East Carolina, Central Florida, turn those into wins. You avoid Gonzaga until potentially this weekend.
And, I mean, because then how high do you think, 7 seed, but do you think they getting higher than like a 7 seed?
Could have.
Yeah.
How many losses are we taking back? 2?
Yeah, a couple.
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
But some of it you're still going to have, no matter how. This is the unfortunate part. No matter what losses you take away, you still got some tough ones on the list.
And here's the thing.
That's true.
I think you can turn Tigers' losses into wins easier than you can any of those big wins into losses. Houston pounding both places. Virginia Tech fairly easy. Bama very easy. SMU at the American a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But Boise was easy. Western Kentucky easy. I think you can turn the losses much easier into wins this year than the other way. But that's how it falls out. 22 up, 11 down in a year that I thought they would lose 4 regular season games. And, yes, I picked them to go to the Final Four. My preseason Final Four, I have 3 left.
How many do I have? Do you have that in front of you?
You have 3 left.
Okay, not bad.
But we've got 2 in the same bracket.
Not great.
I have Gonzaga, UCLA, Purdue. No, that's 3 different brackets. UCLA and Purdue are in there together. Gabe has Texas, UCLA, Kansas. Tigers out. You have Gonzaga, UCLA, Duke with USC out.
Man, USC, they just couldn't get it done.
Hour
Couldn't
1
get it done.
in the books. We start hour 2 with David Cobb. That's up next.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG Highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985, Sport, NU 006,786, MSRP 25407, Outlander NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
Begin your exciting career in broadcasting today. Jobs in advertising, sales, promotions, news, business administration, engineering, and more are available throughout the state. Find out about career opportunities by visiting the Tennessee Broadcasters Virtual Job Fair at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com. Get information about opportunities available in the broadcast industry, as well as specific positions here at Flynn Broadcasting. Apply online now to begin the process of establishing a career in Tennessee's exciting broadcast industry. Minorities and women are strongly encouraged to visit. Brought to you by Flynn Broadcasting at broadcastersvirtualjobfair.com.
Knotfest Roadshow is back. This Tuesday, FedEx Forum, featuring Slipknot. Plus special guests in this moment and wage war. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Visit NotFestRoadshow.com for more.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Gabe out. He'll be back next Monday, out all week, taking his victory in the bracket contest. On vacation with him, Bryant Dacus filling in for him, Jay Morgan Harder doing a great job producing. We start this time every week visiting with our friend David Cobb from CBS Sports. You can follow David and all of his work you can follow David on Twitter at David W. Cobb and all of his great work at CBS Sports. He joins us now. David, we say it every year on this Monday. That was a 10 out of 10 weekend for college basketball.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, that was as good as it gets. Yeah, especially because it just felt so right and so normal, all the scenes with the fans, cheerleaders, bands, on-site announcers, just the whole 9 yards of everything that we might have taken for granted before. It all came back. And I could just see on numerous occasions, Thursday through Sunday, oh, yeah, that's going to be in one shining moment. Oh, there's another one. That's going to be in one shining moment. I mean, they might have to
two
play
shining
the
moments.
one shining moment. Exactly. They might have to do the song at half speed this year just to get all the moments in there.
And for sure, the Indiana cheerleader vaulting the other cheerleader up in the air to dislodge the ball.
Oh, absolutely. That's a lock for sure. And then you got Kennedy Chandler and Jawan Howard. That's a lock for sure. The big guy from TCU last night, he's going to be in there at least once. And I can't even begin to remember all the moments.
St. Peter's could be on a continuous loop.
Oh, there will be documentaries made about St. Peter's. I'm willing to have the discussion about St. Peter's over Kentucky being the biggest NCAA tournament upset of all time, even though it was not a 16-1 like UMBC versus Virginia. The name brand of Kentucky and just the utter lack of resources at St. Peter's, the ultimate David versus Goliath story.
I said last year the Abilene Christian upset over Texas, and in that world, that's UT down there. Had to be the biggest budget disparity upset in NCAA tournament history. St. Peter's certainly could rival it, and I think you were right on. Yes, Virginia went on the next year and won it all, but Virginia's all-time cachet, their all-time pedigree doesn't come close to Kentucky's. And at that time, that was before he had won his title, Tony Bennett didn't compare to John Calipari.
Exactly right. And the talent difference as well with Kentucky, even though they're not as one-and-done oriented this year as they have been in the past, there's a couple of guys on that team who are going to play in the NBA for a long time. And you couldn't necessarily look at that Virginia roster and say the same thing. In fact, I actually went back and studied up on that Virginia-UMBC game at one point, and it's worth mentioning that DeAndre Hunter, who went on to be a lottery pick soon thereafter, he was not available for that game, so Virginia was down one of its best players. That was a healthy Kentucky, and that was the narrative on Kentucky all year, was that when healthy, they are borderline unbeatable, because that was a Kentucky team that went on the road and beat Kansas by 18 in a victory that still looks like it was one of the best of the season in college basketball. And that may end up being a Kentucky victory over the eventual national champion, because Kansas has a really favorable draw at this point to get to the Final Four at least. So the fact that St. Peter's beat a Kentucky team that did that is crazy. And it's not a situation either where you look at St. Peter's and see, okay, you know what? They might have an NBA guy or two that's been flying under the radar. No disrespect to anybody on that team from a talent perspective, but I don't think the scouts are racing to see what time St. Peter's is playing this week so that they can figure out who to take in the first round.
So another thing a lot of people have been talking about this week, and I've seen it all over social media, is the officiating of these games. What have your thoughts been about this weekend in particular, the officiating?
There have been some blunders and some bad moments.
Mm-hmm.
I have a problem with the blanket generalities of like every team that lost, blaming it on the officials. If you watch college basketball all season, you know that officiating is constantly a source of scrutiny.
I hate we was wrong.
Yeah,
I hate that.
And it almost feels like the scrutiny over officiating in college basketball has only gotten worse during the replay era, which just defeats the purpose because we're spending all this time at the monitor to get things right, disrupting the flow of the game, forcing back the start times of other games, and providing a subpar viewing experience. And in the end, still nobody's any happier with the officiating of the game. So it's an issue for sure. The officiating is, and the fact that replay doesn't allow for more for better outcomes from evaluating the officials. So with Memphis and Gonzaga, certainly there was a lot of scrutiny over how Gonzaga was not called for a lot. But you got to remember, too, that this is a Memphis team that has fouled all year. They rely on their depth, their physicality, their tempo. That's the type of team that fouls a lot. Gonzaga plays at a high pace and a high rate, but I wouldn't, at least certainly not before the other night, I wouldn't have classified Gonzaga as an overly physical team.
Right.
And I think that at least partially explains the discrepancy in the whistles.
What did you talking about these fouls? What did you think about the technical on R.J. Melendez in the Illinois game for hanging on the rim?
I mean, that's a perfect example of the officiating crew just going way, way too far. So in the end, thankfully, it didn't end up costing Illinois the game because Houston just went on to blow them out. But this guy's running full speed on a fast break, and he dunks the ball. And I don't have a lot of experience dunking, believe it or not. But, I used to be able to put the rim down to 9 feet or 9.5 even in the driveway and dunk. But suffice it to say that I've watched enough basketball to understand at least that when a guy like Melendez is going full speed, you don't just flush it and then, hop off the rim and land on 2 feet just with no problem. You kind of have to stabilize yourself and gain your momentum back, and that's clearly what he was trying to do. And the fact that at the time it was a close game, that they called a technical foul for that, it was not good. So I'll be curious to see. I'm not one of these officiating dorks who keeps track of who's calling every game and thinks that certain crews have certain agendas and all that. But I will be interested to kind of follow that story over these next 2 weekends because my understanding is that it's a meritocracy and that the officials who grade out the best advance, kind of like the teams. And so we'll see if that Illinois crew goes on. We'll see if the Memphis Gonzaga crew goes on. But if you're looking for a crew that had no grievances aired at it by the losing team, they're going to have to pull from the NIT or the CBI or something else because every team that lost thought it got messed over by the officiating crew this past week.
David, one conspiracy I hear out there about officiating, especially late game, that it's a little more contact. They call it a little less tight late in the game because they are very sensitive, and they've been told to be very sensitive about the broadcast windows, that we got to get a game over to get another game started. That's a little far-fetched for me.
Well, the one that really bothers me is when we spend 5 minutes at the monitor trying to figure out whose hair follicles the basketball grazed
right.
on its way out of bounds.
A fingernail cuticle.
Sure. If the defending team knocked the ball out of bounds, I don't care if it grazed the offensive player's arm hair on the way out of bounds. The defender was the one who knocked it out of bounds.
And Gene Steratore is going to defend him.
I know, right? Dude, that guy's been pulling some hours. Like he was on in that the end of that TCU Arizona game last night.
Has he said the first original thing?
What? Yeah. Hold on. What? Did he have a comment on the TCU play at the end of regulation? Because at that point, I was comatose at that point. I wasn't responsible for my actions at that point last night. Me neither. That was insane.
It was very late, but every year it feels like on this Monday. Last year it was on Tuesday. If you have to grade the NCAA tournament, it gets an A, and it not just because of the upsets, but also the fine play of some of the air quotes here, the bigger teams, but the upsets make it. At this point going forward, David, it usually settles in to big wins. Anybody really giving St. Peter's a chance against Matt Painter and Purdue?
At this point, you never say never. I think the difference for St. Peter's against Purdue is that Purdue has some very unique specialties and some clear identity and some clear star power. That's not really the case for Kentucky or Murray State. I don't know if you can make Sheboying a verb, but Oscar Sheboy being Oscar Sheboy was Kentucky's identity, and that's not really an identity that's associated with any type of play on either end of the floor except for grabbing rebounds. And then Murray State, a balanced team, a team that had some really good players on its team, not a team that you look at the statistics on them and say, oh, here's a clear strength. Purdue is the offense, and it's the best offense arguably in the country, right up there with Gonzaga and Arizona in terms of the best offense in college basketball. And that's just going to be really difficult for a team like St. Peter's to contend with for 40 minutes. Now, of course, the Purdue defense is suspect and has been all year. So what it's going to take is another game where, much like against Kentucky, St. Peter's gets really hot and stays hot, and Eddard is able to get free off the ball and get looks and hit 5, 6, 7 threes even. And, they're able to kind of stay in the game that way. They're going to have to shoot about 50 to 55% from the floor to keep up with Purdue.
What do you think about Miami, obviously getting by USC in the first round, then Auburn in the second round, and now playing the 11th seed Iowa State?
Here's the matchup I want to see. The noted Vandy Whistler from baseball in a contest against Larinaga. His whistling's great, David. Your thoughts on the U?
Yeah, that's a great matchup. How about Larinaga from the top rope last night after they beat Auburn, saying they were motivated because they didn't want to see a shirtless Charles Barkley. That was phenomenal, and I got to say I thank him for saving
large
us from
male
that.
breasts aren't a good look, David.
They are not. Kelvin Sampson reminded us of that earlier in the day. So I'm glad that Miami could spare us that. Who would have thought, though, the Midwest would shape up that way? It's such an easy. I said this before the bracket, and it's one of the very few things that I've proven to be correct about, is one, that Iowa State would be in the Sweet 16, and two, that Kansas has the easiest path of any of the number one seeds. It's ridiculous. They're probably the fourth number one seed. I forget how it shook out exactly, but they have the easiest draw, and that's true of their Sweet 16 opponent in Providence, who is, I think, the most vulnerable of the number 4 seeds, and then it's true also of the bottom half of that bracket, where now you have a 10 and an 11 going against each other. And when you look at Miami, you see a time-honored March tradition and cliche, which is that having veteran guard play in the NCAA tournament is a key to success.
Like pitching in baseball.
Absolutely. Certainly the case for the Hurricanes, who I think committed fewer than 10 turnovers between their 2 games this past weekend, which is just absurd.
Charlie Moore's going for the Johnny Cash song, though. He's been everywhere, man.
I know, right? I heard Memphis get a handful of shout-outs over the weekend because of the fact that he committed to Josh Pastner.
In 2015.
Amazing. I mean, I was still in college then, and boy, a lot's happened in my life.
Guess where I was then, David? Right here. Every answer to that question, right here.
That's right.
David Cobb with us from CBS Sports. And, David, of course I have this nugget for you. Of the 16 teams in the NCAA tournament Sweet 16, here are the teams that also won a bowl game this year. You ready?
Yeah.
Houston, Texas Tech, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, Purdue over Tennessee, Michigan State, and the Razorbacks. That's a good sports year when you can do that.
Arkansas is firing on all cylinders as an athletic department right now. There's no doubt. You know, I was trying to remember which bowl game St. Peter's played in, but I couldn't remember. It might have been the same one that Villanova was in, I guess.
It was one of those early games, like in the Bahamas.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
But Arkansas, they go to the Sweet 16. They will face Gonzaga. We have said it, and I think we've said it not being homers. Yes, the overtime game for Baylor and North Carolina was a great game, down from 25. But the best end-to-end contested game from start to finish, I truly believe, was Gonzaga and Memphis. Your thoughts?
It may have been. I need to rewatch Arizona TCU with the sound on and with my head not buried in work.
Yeah.
Because boy, that one was the ending.
Again,
of it
I was delirious. And during that game, I'm going to tell y'all something seriously that happened to me during that game. Out of nowhere, I'm watching that game and I'm kind of fading in and out, and I smell smoke in my house. This is last night. I'm going, I know I smell smoke. And I'm going like room to room, like, where's it come from? So I get the flashlight out. I go up in the attic. I don't see anything. I go outside. I don't see anything. And I don't smell smoke of this is the 70s hit song, smoke from a distant fire wafting my way either. And it was confined to one room. This morning, nothing. So during that game, I was not myself.
Interesting.
Brett, that was courtesy of Penny Hardaway for all the shade we threw at him a couple months ago when they were struggling. He sent you all the smoke.
I'm thinking, am I having an electrical fire? Should I call the fire department? And I said, to hell with it, and went to bed.
Yeah, well, you missed a bizarre ending.
Oh, my Farm Bureau agent's not listening.
But start to finish, Memphis Gonzaga is in the mix. I mean, it was blow for blow, the pace and just the insanity of the way those two teams got up and down the floor.
Great contest.
And then one of my favorite, most underrated moments of the NCAA tournament first weekend is Drew Timmy's post-game interview, in which Andy Katz asked him what he said to his team to motivate them.
He cleaned it up G version too.
It is hilarious to go back and watch him try to present the G-rated version of what he said, because he's still so fired up that it's right on the tip of his tongue what he actually said. But pretty funny moment of restraint there from Drew Timme, and I think kind of showed you just the intensity that was required of Gonzaga to outlast Memphis. And there's been a lot of talk, rightfully so, about how Memphis got a tough draw, and how if Memphis had been a 10 seed, they might still be in this thing, probably would be because of how well they've been playing. I think that was a really brutal draw for Gonzaga, too. I bet on the message boards up there and on the radio stations up there, they're talking. They were talking probably last week, and they're talking today about, wow, what a tough draw for us to have to go against that Memphis team in the second round, because I think everybody can look at the way Memphis played at the end of this season and the way they hung with Gonzaga, and particularly the way they played in the first half, and you say, all right, that team was far more talented than a 9 seed. And I know we all knew that by now, but the nation as a whole, I think, came to understand that perhaps in a way that they didn't before.
One of the games that a lot of people were looking forward to in that round of 64, Murray State and San Francisco. Now, both those coaches have been hired, Todd Golden at Florida, and then Matt McMahon just recently to LSU. What do you think about those two hires?
I think it's a slam dunk for LSU, given what LSU is now facing with the sanctions, because it seems that there's a real strong possibility that it could be more than just a one-year postseason ban for LSU. I mean, 1 year is what Auburn self-imposed. 1 year is what Oklahoma State got. 1 year is what Arizona self-imposed. And what's in that notice of allegations in regards to Will Wade, and not just Will Wade, but that program as a whole, suggests that 1 year might not be all that LSU gets. So it's interesting from Matt McMahon's perspective, because I feel quite certain that this was not his only opportunity, but perhaps he sees a little bit of value from a coach's perspective and the patience that he'll have with that athletic department, and also a program where you can make the top 15 or top 20 money in the sport and be the third best show on your own campus and kind of fly under the radar. And so I think that's where LSU is headed for the next 2 or 3 years, is a total gutting and rebuild. Going to be living through some sanctions, maybe even some scholarship restrictions. Will be far and away behind football, baseball, maybe even women's basketball on that campus for a while. And then you might look up 3 or 4 years down the road, and a coach like Matt McMahon, who is rock solid, could leave them out on the other side of that with a lot of goodwill built up if he's able to kind of keep them respectable and get them back to a place of respectability coming out on the other side. So interesting to say the least, but a great hire from Scott Woodward. And if I'm a Murray State fan, it's disappointing, but Murray State is more than one coach, and it's more than one player. So Murray State has been continuously successful in basketball for the last couple of decades, even longer, continually put out really good coaches who go on to do pretty good things at their next job as well. And I think Matt McMahon's going to keep doing that. And I bet Murray State's going to continue to be a good program, even as they go on to the Missouri Valley next year.
At one time, Tulsa basketball was like Murray State. Every guy that came through there, it was a hit. Everybody did well, got a bigger job. At one time, Southern Miss football was like that, with a lot of people coming through and getting bigger jobs. David, the Big Ten Twitter, it sure is taking a victory lap over two teams in the Sweet 16. Yes, they beat Tennessee. They handled Tennessee quite easily. Michigan justified their existence into the bracket. But, boy, they're really proud over two in the Sweet 16. I still remind them, you hadn't won it all since 2000.
That's right, but Brett, they've got twice as many teams in the Sweet 16 than they did last year. If you want to look at it that way,
3 out of 18 the last 2 years of NCAA tournament bids to get to the Sweet 16. They've had 18 shots and 3 have made it.
Yeah, and 2 of those are Michigan.
Yeah,
that's wild. This is a Michigan team left for dead. Around the same time that Memphis was left for dead, and North Carolina, and that group of big time alums and former NBA guys, they really turned it on in the second half of the season. And the fact that Michigan and North Carolina are in the Sweet 16, not something I would have predicted 2 weeks ago, a month ago. Certainly didn't predict it last week when I was filling out my bracket. Although I did have North Carolina to the Sweet 16, I'll say that. But yeah, so Big Ten, SEC, not great either. Certainly with Arkansas as the only team left standing. It's interesting trying to draw.
It was bad for the SEC. I'm going to crush them into next year over this year's performance.
Well, it's just so interesting when you try to draw the conference conclusions from the NCAA tournament, because it does matter, and it's the same way with like coaches' legacies and how you remember a team.
Yeah,
this is the hardest thing to do in college basketball is to contextualize what the NCAA tournament means, and that is in so many different capacities. And so I put out on Twitter last night, and I was joking and stuff, but, I said every coach who didn't make the Sweet 16 should be fired. And every coach who did make the Sweet 16 and doesn't win National Coach of the Year is being disrespected. Because that's almost
I think you're right,
like.
David. What was extreme about that?
I know, right? That's just the snap judgments we make, and it's the same way with the conferences. So last year it was like, oh, wow, the Pac-12 was actually really good. Well, I don't know. They had a good postseason last year, but I think they proved this year that not really so great.
David, we're short on time, but don't you love hearing from people all the things that don't matter in sports? A big intersectional game in college football, that doesn't matter. Conference is everything. Then when we get to the bowl season, well, one league superiority over the other one, that doesn't really matter anything because there's so many different motivations for bowls. Then we get into college basketball, NCAA tournament, because you got a lot of teams in the Sweet 16. That doesn't. What the heck matters?
It matters what matters to the fan bases and what matters to the programs. There's such a huge disconnect in college basketball because Tennessee, those players feel like they had a good season. They're disappointed that they lost in the round of 32, absolutely, but they feel like they had a good season. But there's at least 30% of the Tennessee fans out there today who feel like the season was a failure because they didn't make it past the second round. And so I think it's ultimately the beauty lies in the eye of the beholder, and that's part of what makes sports great as well, is because these topics lend themselves to great debate, and there's no shortage of the debate to be had around what the NCAA tournament means, and it's a heck of a way to crown a national champion. I'll say that because the best team all year is not always the best team in March, and that's why we love this.
We do love it, and we love having you with us on Mondays. David, have a great week. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, guys.
David Cobb with us every Monday from CBS Sports. We get down to the Sweet 16, and always in any bracket at the top, it's the commissary. Either place, the new Collierville commissary, Houston Levy, and Poplar, or the original in Germantown. All that Memphis-style barbecue and ribs, so good and authentic Memphis-style great food. And if you're craving an easier way to order, you can do it. Text commissary to 33733. Start that barbecue feast with the great appetizers like the cheese plate or the tamales or the barbecue nachos, the smoked chicken wings, terrific. All that could be an entree, but start with that and then dig into the ribs or the shoulder. Get it chopped or pulled on a sandwich or on a plate, all the fixings, slaw, deviled eggs, bread, and even order it by the pound, 6-pack, 8-pack, or 12-pack. all so good. Save room for dessert. It's quite the challenge, like the best lemon icebox pie I've ever had anywhere, and the outstanding banana pudding. 901-754-5540. Online at commissarybbq.com in Collierville and Germantown. Those barbecue nachos invented at the Germantown Commissary in the early 80s. Walker Taylor and his staff, they'll be ready for Tiger football coming up in September. They'll be ready for Tiger basketball next year, and enjoy the crowd that they had out on Thursday to watch the game, and then all the food that was delivered to people and people that were there to enjoy the game on Saturday. They thank you so much. 901-754-5540 or online at commissarybbq.com. We talk brackets and what they got right and what they got wrong, and maybe some examination of things going forward by the NCAA Tournament Selection Committee. We do that with Shelby Mass from USA Today and bracketwag.com. That's next on Sportstime.
You have opinions?
What do you hear? What do you say?
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point energy-saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. We'll also include a complete safety inspection using our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll run a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. Call this week, and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Get in the game, Mid-South. Coach Colin.
And Coach Hunter here from DeSoto Auto Sales.
We're maniacs for all this madness.
But if we're going to catch all these games, we need your help.
So we cooked up a 3-point plan to help you
rebound from your old ride. 1.
Pick any nicer, newer car on the lot.
2.
Pass us your old ride.
3.
Will come in with the assist.
And give you up to $3,000 more than Kelley Blue Book value.
Based on the price of the car you pick.
So if your old rod makes you feel second string,
it's time for a rebound.
Because you could get up to $3,000 more than it's worth.
Worried about fouls on your credit report?
Our For the People credit approval process is a slam dunk.
But hurry.
This deal's done at the buzzer.
I'm Colin.
And I'm Hunter, and we're your dealers.
For the people. See all the cars at DeSotoAutoSales.com.
That's DeSotoAutoSales.com.
Credit requires bank approval. Vehicle purchase price determines actual trade allowance. Negative equity may be refinanced. Kelley Blue Book is a registered trademark of the Kelley Blue Book Company Incorporated, which is not affiliated with DeSoto Auto Sales. Offer absolutely ends March 31st, 2022.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts, boots, and more. Frontier continues to add new items in their women's boutique. Flare jeans and pants are in, and Frontier is fully stocked. There are daily arrivals with thousands of on-trend tops as well, all at amazing prices. And guys, Frontier's your #1 Carhartt store. No one has a larger selection of everyday fits and workwear by Carhartt. Wrangler and Area clothing available too. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled and expanded world-famous boots showroom? Now there are even more dress and work boots in stock. There are over 1,000 pair of Area boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, and Twisted X. Frontier recently added Hey Dude shoes with lots more on the way. As if the selection isn't reason enough, Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores. So when you're ready for your next pair, you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Brad Dacus in this week for Gabe Kuhn, who is on vacation. Producing is Jay Morgan Harder. I'm Brett Norsworthy, and we welcome you back to Sports Time. And we visit with our friend Shelby Mass, really from about Super Bowl on, counting down the weeks for bracketology. He's the official bracketologist for USA Today. You can follow him on Twitter at BracketWag. His site is bracketwag.com. And Shelby is with us today. Shelby, good afternoon. And I want to start with where did the committee get it the most wrong? Who was most improperly seated?
I don't know about anybody improperly seated, but boy, it was crazy. I mean, it's hard to put it into words how again, I hate to say the committee messed up, but somewhere along the lines they seem to have. They didn't know who St. Peter's was. We all do now. Miami, the ACC is not in good shape, but Miami's in Sweet 16. UNC, Duke, they're still alive.
What about Arkansas? They may have been better than a 4?
With the season they had, I thought a 4 was right in line with where they earned it, but that's the only SEC team left.
It's the only SEC team left, and that causes me makes me think that they should look at both the metrics for how many Big Ten teams they get that gets in every year, and SEC. A case could have been made. No, the SEC definitely didn't deserve 7. You could even argue they didn't deserve the 6. Bounce Bama and maybe put in someone else from around the country and maybe not have 9 from the Big Ten. Your thoughts?
I feel that the teams did what the committee requests, and for those that really challenge themselves, like Alabama, they were going to reward them. I think they could have been 16 and 15, and they'd have still got in because they did what they were supposed to do.
You think they had to pull to Michigan?
Possibly, it could happen. I didn't think Michigan deserved it, but here they are.
And do you still think? I know we talked to you last week about Texas A&M. You still think? Do you think they should have been in after watching one weekend of play?
Probably not. I missed it. A lot of people missed it, but looking at what happened, I think the committee got that one right.
64 teams or 68. I hope it never goes above 68. Do we really need Tuesday and Wednesday night? Do we really need Dayton games?
Money. We don't need them for the tournament, but it generates revenue, and so they'll stay there.
They will, and you're right. How about this for Dayton? Why make the 16s play each other? Why have Wright State and Bryant and Texas Southern and Texas A&M Corpus Christi play each other when they earned their way in? They were the automatic qualifiers. Why not make Dayton all 11s and 12s play each other?
I've been saying that for years. That's the way I want it, but the NCAA apparently does not. And I think I read somewhere their reasoning was so those 16 seeds can say they got a tournament win, when it's really not. But yeah, it is. But I agree.
I know a 15 seed that can say they got 2 tournament wins.
Yeah, that's true. But it's got to be. It should be the last 8 teams that are at larges, and then go with that.
What do you think? I know a lot of people were up in arms almost about Tennessee getting the 3 seed instead of the 2nd seed. After watching them through 2 games, obviously losing to Michigan, do you think that seeding was right? Do you think they still should have been on that 2 seed?
I think they probably should have been. I don't know if that would have changed their outcome, because I firmly believe when these teams are going to lose, doesn't really matter who it is, they'll lose.
Mm-hmm.
And same with if you win, the team's supposed to win, it's going to win. If it's their night, it's going to be their night, regardless of who they're playing. But I think Tennessee did deserve it, but it didn't show it.
Tennessee, it really kind of or the committee was vindicated by having them seated where they had them, because if you can't win there, how are you going to win really anywhere else?
Yeah, exactly. And SEC as a whole pretty much laid an egg.
Sure did. LSU, I thought, pretty flat most of that game. I know different circumstances. That arguably that should have been LSU getting in front of the NCAA and self-imposing and passing on this tournament, especially with that effort. And can you think of a sloppier end to football and to basketball that LSU had with their bowl game and their one-and-done NCAA tournament appearance?
Yeah, not a good look for them, but there's other factors at play. That'll be their excuse.
And I love from SEC partisans. I haven't advanced this. I have not. And I am SEC partisan, but I've heard some say, well, Mike Slive and then Greg Sankey, they got serious about basketball. And they hired Mike Tranghese as an advisor, as analyst. That's tantamount. That's coded to me as saying, well, when we were losing, it was only because we didn't care. Well, they cared.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, and I heard before the season started that they fined their basketball teams $250,000 if their strength of schedule drops below, I think it's 200.
Well, okay, good for them, but I don't even think you should have that fine in there to be imposed on anyone for respect and looking back at yourself in the mirror. You shouldn't have a schedule below that, and you're in the SEC.
I agree, but I don't think it's right to fine them. I don't know, maybe that's old school me.
Yeah, but I can assure you there's plenty of money around in SEC, Shelby.
Oh, yeah. They don't feel it.
What do you think about a team like Duke? Do you think they can go far in this tournament or further than they already have?
Before the tournament, I had them losing Texas Tech in the next round.
Mm-hmm.
I did too.
kind of feel it's going to be the same outcome. But with the craziness that's been happening, I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what can happen. It's been crazy. Arizona got lucky last night. They should have whooped TCU, but they didn't. And so I think, the circumstances give Duke hope.
3 number ones remain: Gonzaga, Arizona, and Kansas. The one number one was the defending champion, losing in overtime to Hubert Davis in North Carolina in his first year. And now it's North Carolina and UCLA, and that's as bluest of blue bloods as you can get.
Yeah, it is. And good for Baylor for making a comeback, down 25, and they fought their way back. That was just too big of a mountain to overcome. But UCLA, UNC, historical documents tell us that's going to be fantastic. Recent, it might be, but the way Carolina's season went, I don't have much faith in it.
Wisconsin, once again, they do that in the NCAA tournament. Whether it's a bowl game or the NCAA tournament, you can count on Wisconsin falling flat.
Yes. I think there's a lot of teams that you can count on.
Tennessee?
To fall. Tennessee's another one. A friend of mine was here this weekend, and he didn't know who the Tennessee coach was. And when I told him, he said, "Oh, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have picked him that far."
And that Auburn performance yesterday, okay, not just lose, but really get routed by Jim Larrañaga in Miami. Jim Larrañaga, famous in 2006 for taking George Mason to the Final Four, and now he's in the Sweet 16 with Miami.
Yeah, he did a masterful job against them. I was real high on Auburn. I don't know what happened today. It just didn't look like they ever really got into the game.
Down the stretch of the year, from being voted number one, Auburn, that crown fit heavy and tightly on them. They did not handle that well from being number one on.
No, they didn't. And I don't know if that's the players or the coach or what. I got to think Bruce Pearl could handle it. He's been, I don't know,
Final
one.
Four.
So he's been there. He knows how to handle it. But his players didn't buy into what he was selling down the stretch.
So we're down to 16. Can St. Peter's pull off another one? Can they get to the Elite Eight? Can they beat Purdue? And then if they do, that matchup against either North Carolina and UCLA, I mean, the idea of that game would be on Sunday afternoon. The announcers say UCLA or North Carolina against St. Peter's. People would think that would be a November 10th game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think they can, but I didn't think they could win the game in the first place.
I had Kentucky going to the Final Four.
Yeah, and I mean, Murray State versus St. Peter's, that's a November game. That's not March Madness, but it was, and that was a pretty good game too. But St. Peter's kind of controlled things. I think what they got going for them right now is, I mean, even though people know the name, they don't know the team.
But they got a lot of new fans, and it has been a fun story. We get these stories every year, and Shelby, we will talk to you next week when we're down to 4 teams, and then in 2 weeks we'll be down to 2 teams, but we'll visit next week. Thank you for all your input. Thank you, Shelby.
Thanks, Shelby.
Thanks, guys.
Shelby Mass with us from BracketWag.com, the official bracketologist for USA Today. You mentioned with David Cobb the SEC hires. Michael White, we know, left Florida for Georgia. Todd Golden hired from San Francisco to the Florida job that Michael White vacated. Chris Jans from New Mexico State, now at Mississippi State. Dennis Gates from Cleveland State will be named officially and formally tomorrow at Missouri after the Board of Trustees vote today. And Matt McMahon, the new coach at LSU from Murray State. Any of those, wow, did it knock you over?
No, I was really interested. That's mainly why I asked David that, is because I was really kind of surprised when I saw Matt McMahon go to LSU. I mean, like David said, you'd think he has other offers, and to go to a school like LSU that's, probably going to have some pretty harsh punishments come down by the NCAA, that kind of surprised me a little bit. I do like Todd Golden. I like what he built over in San Francisco. I think down in Florida with the resources they have, he could get them back up. But those were really the two that really stuck out to me.
Yeah, that Todd Golden San Francisco team, they lost a really good first-round game by 5 to Murray State. That was a fun game to watch. When we come back, we'll have more of an overview nationally. And then at 5 o'clock, we get into the Grizzlies, and the Grizzlies keep on rolling, trying to hang on to that 2 seed. DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal, he joins us at 5, but we'll wrap up this hour. When we return, you're listening to Sports Time.
Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio, presented by Tito's Vodka, from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hi, I'm Troy Fivesh, owner of Fivesh Roofing. Sunday, today and today only. And for the first 50 callers. These are things you will never hear me say in my ads. Because if you're honest, sincere, and knowledgeable, you don't need fast-talking, high-energy, gimmick-promising advertising to get someone's attention. Speaking of that, how do you think companies can offer huge rebates and giveaways when you use their services or products? By overcharging you in the first place. That's how. Fivesh Roofing doesn't operate that way. It's misleading and dishonest. When I provide a customer with the best products and the best service, and I do it for a fair price, why would I need gimmicks? Best products, best warranties, and the best service possible. That's all we offer. Well, that and financing. Fivesh Roofing, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Fivesh Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fivesh Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. 2 great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Say there was a place, the perfect place for everything you need for tailgates and patios, grills and chairs, charcoal and coolers, everything to make a great game or a great day. That perfect place wouldn't be a warehouse. It's East Memphis Ace Hardware. Locally owned and operated at Quince and White Station, East Memphis Ace Hardware is where you'll find Benjamin Moore paints, local plants from local growers, and Black & Decker tools. Around the block, what you need in stock with people who know their tailgates. Welcome to East Memphis Ace Hardware, the home convenience store.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
We're down to 16. 15 of the 16. They've been to a Final Four before. I think we know the one that hadn't. 8 of the 16 past champs. 2 games in this round of games coming up Thursday and Friday will be past champ against past champ, that being North Carolina against UCLA. They may have even played each other for one of those UCLA late 60s runs with Charlie Scott. And I know Michigan and Villanova not only are past champs, but have played each other. And they played each other in San Antonio, because I was there for the finals in 2018 when Villanova, that was a year that you could say somebody won it fairly easily and really wasn't contested, never kind of had to have that wake-up moment. Villanova and Michigan will play. Michigan's vindicated.
1968 national championship.
Charlie Scott?
UCLA wins 78-55 over UNC.
Yeah. Charlie Scott on the Tar Heels? You got a box score?
Yeah, I got a box score on the Tar Heels. Charlie Scott.
Yes, sir.
Hey.
He had 12 points that night. Larry Miller had 14. Big night for Larry.
All comes full circle. Flying home from San Antonio from that Final Four, San Antonio to Atlanta. I'm in the middle seat. I always get middle seat. The window seat is Charlie Scott, who had been that weekend named that he would be inducted that fall into the Basketball Hall of Fame. I was not being nosy. I just had periphery vision in the middle seat, tightly cramped in, and I could see him on his phone, and he's texting on the plane, and I could see the ID and the name in the phone with Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
who had 34 and 16 in that game, by the way.
And was MOP of that Final
No
Four.
kidding.
Yeah. But Michigan vindicated.
Look,
they can say up yours, can't they?
I'm not saying I went to the – I tried to die on that hill.
Michigan stand.
I am. I need to put that in my bio on Twitter.
With Herb Adderley. You know where Herb Adderley played college. If you get this.
Michigan.
Michigan State.
Oh, man. I was hoping it was going to be one of those, No, but Michigan, I personally didn't think they'd get this far. I thought Tennessee was going to beat them. But they've shown a lot of fight. They've shown that I think it's more with them. I think probably a lot of what Juwan Howard has probably preached a lot this week was, hey, nobody thinks that y'all belong here, so let's prove it to them. And they've sure done that.
And part of I don't know if it was defense of Juwan Howard, but I know I didn't come in here off the top rope calling for his job. You remember that Monday after that Sunday incident? We were all pretty restrained. Gabe was. Yeah. I know I was. I know you. None of us called. We said, okay, maybe a suspension, a game. What did he end up getting? A game?
He got 5 games.
Oh, he got that much.
Juwan?
That's right.
Yeah, Juwan got 5 games. He is the rest of the regular season.
But I know we were never to the he should be fired. We were never there.
No.
Didn't he really, again, to use that word, vindication, didn't he really show, and it was part of the reason I didn't want to go after him, because while competitive, and he had an incident with an opposing coach last year with Mark Turgeon.
Yep.
And I don't know him at all personally, but from afar, I think he appears to be a decent guy. Didn't we see his decency with Kennedy Chandler?
Yeah, and obviously – a tough moment for Kennedy Chandler, obviously a freshman, and played his heart out in that game. I mean, a great game from Kennedy Chandler. Had 19 points, 9 assists, 4 rebounds, and just for an opposing coach to do something like that, that's what March Madness is all about, not to be cliche.
It was sincere. It wasn't Juwan Howard, this is opportunity for me to get a good merit. No. He was doing the right thing because I think his image is mostly the right thing.
Yeah.
He had a bad moment with Greg Gard in Wisconsin post-game, and he paid for it, and he can't let it happen again. No. I did say that.
Oh, yeah.
The next time, we know what that means.
I agree, and I think the thing that's so funny, too, is you don't always see great basketball coaches reacting that way to things. It's sometimes a guy that's like, the politician, for lack of a better term for it. But Juwan Howard is a good basketball coach. He just had a little slip up. But I'm glad to see their team has recovered.
Yeah.
The go-to place to sell any vehicle for some crazy good money and get a check today is in Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet. You don't have to buy one of the All-Star car trucks either. Just bring it in, even if you owe money on it. But if you're ready to go car truck shopping, where you need to be is All-Star Chevrolet. It's Chevy Truck Month. Ask for Kevin or Jeff or Drew or any of the great members of the team at All-Star, and they'll show you all the new Silverados and more in the pipeline. 0 interest available, and your good credit, it deserves it, plus $1,000 accessory allowance, plus $500 bonus cash. That's $1,500 right there. These will go fast, so try to get down there this week. Pre-order what you want. All-Star Chevy is loaded with certified pre-owned Chevys. Yes, lots of certified Silverados. If you want to shop the best pre-owned vehicles, go to allstarautogroup.com and find the one you want. Come drive one today. Drive them all. Remember, it's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville, or Mount Moriah. It's got to be Olive Branch. Find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com. Final hour of the day coming up. That starts with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. That's next.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Thank you, Brett. We are here and we're making it. I have to say a big thank you to all of our customers that ordered food during the curbside days, bought gift certificate when times were slow, ordered food to be shipped from our shipping kitchen, and then came back down to eat when our doors reopened. We owe a debt to the Memphis and surrounding community for supporting us when we need it. I hope y'all all come eat some barbecue with us, but I also hope you'll support our local restaurants. And if your service is a little slow or an item isn't on the menu that you enjoy, cut them a little slack. Hopefully it'll be there soon.
Thank you, John. We appreciate you for feeding all of us, and we will take that advice to heart.
Brett, we also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Burgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me. 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand bottled, taste tested, sent to a few friends, then taste tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com.
Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday, baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $7.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $9.99. And veggie plate, $8.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7-passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985, Sport, NU 06786, MSRP 25407, Outlander, NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Final hour on this Monday. We've been consumed with Tigers and NCAA tournament. We will talk Grizzlies with DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal. On the beat for the Commercial Appeal, we visit with DeMichael every Monday at this time after I tell you about the title sponsor of this hour, and that's DeSoto Auto Sales down on Goodman Road, 5704 Goodman Road, online at DeSotoAutosales.com. They are very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area, and they do it well, and we appreciate them. All the cars, test-driven, checked out bumper to bumper, from head to toe, unlimited inventory, every make, every model, and if it's not on the lot, they'll go find that special car just for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. When you walk in, you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere, no high-pressure sales. They care about your time, and they want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and that's why they've kept the sales process very simple. Within 45 minutes, a guarantee. Find the car you want, test drive that car, credit approved, paperwork completed. You're pulling out of there in 45 minutes or less. It's a guarantee. Go online to DeSotoAutosales.com. Check out the cars. Check out the testimonials from repeat customers through the years. 662-890-7184. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales. DeMichael Cole joins us now from the Commercial Appeal on the Grizzlies beat. DeMichael, we're wrapped up in March Madness, and the Grizzlies wrapped up during that a nice little tidy 3-1 road trip. Got a little ugly Friday night in Atlanta, but I think most people, when they embarked on the roadie, would have accepted 3-1. Good afternoon, DeMichael.
Yeah, 3-1 wasn't bad. I mean, 4-0 was the goal. Play-in teams, non-playoff teams, but 3-1, you'll take it. You'll take it.
So, obviously, John Morant didn't play yesterday, was listed as doubtful. Do you think we see him Wednesday night against the Nets?
I think so. It's knee soreness, which is something he's dealt with a couple times now. And the main thing with that is you get a couple days off in between. Mm-hmm. So, 2 days off was a big part of why he missed the last game and this one, the Pacers game as well. So, they're really stressing that, that time frame. And, I mean, I won't say for sure that he's going to play Wednesday, but I do know that, that was factored into the decision.
Right.
Not playing against the Rockets. Again, it gives him that extra day. He'll have 2 days in between game time, and they'll see where he is Wednesday.
And then the back-to-back Brooklyn at home, 6:30 tip Wednesday night. And then the next night, the back-to-back at home against Indiana. Might not be any guarantees you see him against Indiana, though.
Right. I mean, and why would you after, the way they played in that last game against Indiana without him? So I think, Wednesday is the big one for obvious reasons. You're going to have ESPN here and the whole full day of access, something they haven't done for an NBA team in 4 seasons. And, Ja Morant is a big reason why they're here. So think a lot of people who were planning on tuning in to watch that want to watch Ja.
Michael, you were all over the announcement of that coverage by ESPN. It's going to be wall to wall. It's something that, Michael, I go back to the whole idea of the pursuit team in 2001 and people trying to get the team to move here from Vancouver. And I greatly resisted people at that time that would say this will make us major league, because I would defend us. That I think we've always been top flight town and a great place to live and into sports. But I would say it will open up a new chapter of publicity and insight for people to learn about Memphis that we wouldn't get otherwise. Wednesday's going to be proof of that.
Yeah, 100%. And just like, I mean, I think, with Ja Morant, everybody knows, what he brings to the table, what he means for Memphis. That's no secret. But a lot of people, Wednesday are going to learn about Desmond Bain. They're going to learn more about, not even, that level player. They're going to learn about the bench guys, Tyus Jones, Brandon Clark, DeAnthony Melton, and how all these guys have played big roles. They're going to see the chemistry when the team does the behind the scenes, access, when they see them practicing, when they see them, in film sessions and they see the workout videos and things like that. They're going to see the team chemistry just up close that, us who'll be around the team pretty much every day. We know for a fact they're one of the, closest teams in the league. But it's those little things that people will really catch on to, and the players will grow on them. And that doesn't just, that's not just a 1-year thing. That's something where people will probably tend to like this team for years to come.
Tell our listeners what your readers can expect to read from you in shadowing and following the ESPN personalities. I know you had the story today about Stephen A. Smith. Michael, I, for one, have always defended Stephen A. Smith because way back, my friend Ron Tillery, that at one time was on the Grizzlies beat, he was telling me that they kind of came of age together in covering sports and were very good friends. And at a Super Bowl, I just said Ron Tillery, and he opened up and like we were old best friends. I appreciate how hard he works, how very colorful and at times flamboyant he can be. How will you cover him in town? Well, take our listeners, for your readers, behind the scenes of how you're going to cover this.
Yeah, so we did the Stephen A. just a quick piece earlier. Just thought it was just a cool story just on him and he talked about his personal experience with Ja Morant. Ja Morant is loved by a lot of people, but Stephen A. basically was like, I love his heart, I love his potential, I love the way he plays, but when I see him, all I can think about is him not being on my favorite team. But there's a lot more from that. We're going to talk with more ESPN personalities and have a lot more coverage from that end. But yeah, we got a lot of things planned this week. Just to chronicle through this all the way up to Wednesday. I'd say probably going to do like three more pieces on it.
So Dillon Brooks returned to the lineup against Oklahoma City. What have you seen? What have you thought about his return in these last 4 games?
He's getting closer and closer. Mm-hmm. And I'd say Dillon Brooks is probably the most honest guy on the team. So he's someone, whenever he says something, you can almost pretty much take his word for it. And he basically, I asked him, said, how close are you? And he said that I'm not 100% yet. And you kind of get the chills when you hear his full answer when he says, we got the Brooklyn Nets on Wednesday, and he says, I want to see how I match up against the best. He didn't say names, but we know who he's talking about.
Right.
He wants to see how he matches up against Kyrie Irving, against Kevin Durant, and follow up with him after that game, and he's going to have another answer on how he feels. But I think it's just little small things, He's getting closer. He's taking his shot is there. He's 8 of 18 in that last game. So that goes to show he's not only finding his shot within the offense, but his confidence is there to take the shots that he believes he can make that aren't even in the flow of the offense. So you got that. And, defensively, the impact is obvious. We talked about Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green combining for 53 in that game where, the Rockets beat the Grizzlies. And in his last game, he started off on Kevin Porter Jr. and it's almost, just being there in the arena watching Kevin Porter Jr. leave during the game and come back, and he was frustrated. I mean, he was frustrated by Dylan Brooks' defense, and Jalen Green kind of had an off night too. And I don't think that was a direct, impact with Dylan Brooks, but it was more. Dylan Brooks said he wanted to impact the team with like his physicality, his energy, and that's something that rubs off. Is the rest of the defenders see Dylan Brooks diving on the floor, jumping for loose balls and things like that, they're going to do the same thing.
Our guest is DeMichael Cole from the Commercial Appeal on Twitter at DeMichaelC. And in your bio, you have past bylines as the Philadelphia Inquirer. That's something you have in common with Stephen A. Have you talked to him about it?
Yeah, for sure. When I first got the job, and when I first got moved to full time, that is, I moved to a new neighborhood, and I actually went out with one of the coaches of one of the college basketball teams in Philly, and he was letting me know. He was like, you live like 8 minutes from Stephen A. Smith now. I was like, huh?
That's
so, yeah,
great.
you live 8 minutes from Stephen A. Smith, but I never really got to meet him up there, but I knew that he knew my name just because the Inquirer linkage. So yeah, when we talked, we definitely brought that up just in terms of he gave me his experience in at the Inquirer, and of course everyone knows his story in terms of how he and Allen Iverson were real close knit and how that affected his career arc and things like that.
And it's a great story. It's a story of hard work. Ask him seriously. When does he sleep, and what kind of throat lozenges does he have? Because I would love to have the same ones.
Bro, if I would have, I felt like, talking to him that you almost feel like you're on the clock because he has something else to do. Like, you don't want to waste time. You don't want to just, because he's a busy dude. I'm thinking, he's probably got to go on radio when he's done with this, or he's probably got to do, another TV hit, one of the TV shows, or prep for something like
Twitter presence.
Exactly, Twitter presence.
It's unreal.
I mean, it's only 24 hours in a day. I really don't get it.
Yeah, I think he squeezes in 25. DeMichael Cole with us this week. 4-game homestand. Last week was 4-game road. He went 3-1. This week, Brooklyn, Indiana, Milwaukee, Golden State. I'll take another 3-1.
3-1. Yeah, that's very doable. I mean, I think that's definitely what you want. 4-0 would be hard, between, I think Brooklyn and Milwaukee are the two biggest tests in my opinion. Golden State is a big test in its own right, but we saw they just lost to the Spurs in their first game without Stephen Curry, so we already seeing the Curry effect there. And I think we're going to see it some more just from the offensive side of things. Defensively, Golden State will be fine, but I think the Pacers, second night of a back-to-back, of course, you can't sleepwalk into it, but that should be a win. 3-1 will be, great going through this stretch, but that Golden State game, of course, is the biggest one in terms of standings and all of that good stuff. But right now, it's looking like the Grizzlies have a good hold on that 2 seed.
And so, like you were saying, I mean, how big of obviously you never want to wish injuries on anybody, but with Stephen Curry out, how big is that opening for them to get that 2 seed?
It's huge because, I mean, you guys know, like last week, I was starting to say it was leaning in Golden State direction because I felt that if the Grizzlies didn't have a 2-game lead over Golden State at the point when Draymond Green got back, it was going to be hard to overcome them because Grizzlies had a tougher schedule going down the stretch and things like that. But the difference is now with Curry out, Golden State offense, I mean, it's going to plummet a little bit. Defensively, they'll be strong, but they'll lose more games instead of, winning in convincing fashion the way they have. And because of that, the Grizzlies, won't have to be overly dominant in this stretch. They can afford a couple losses and still have control of that 2 seed. But just the 2 seed in general, in the past, we've talked about how important it is because you could avoid playing a team like the Nuggets. And I think it's funny now that the Nuggets are falling into the 7th seed, but the Timberwolves have been a top 10 offense and defense since, the All-Star break. Plus, the Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns just had the big 60-point game, and the Timberwolves are 2-2 against the Grizzlies. So at the end of the day, I'm just starting to come to this understanding. There's no perfect matchup. There's no team you got to
win 4 games over 2 weeks.
Exactly, and that's what it's going to come down to. I mean, the West is just too good.
It is too good. Phoenix, I think tonight or maybe even tomorrow night, mathematically secure the one. They're going to be the 1 seed with the best record, and will have the best record overall in the NBA. Grizzlies right now at 2. Magic number count is on. Golden State the 3, Utah 4, Dallas 5, Minnesota the 6. Then play-in. Denver 7, Clippers 8, New Orleans 9, the Lakers 10. LeBron James passes the mailman for number 2. There's only 1 to go. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar should get it about game 55 or so next year, all things being reasonable and acceptable on the injury front and the health maintenance front. That should be around All-Star break time or so next year, and he's all they have.
Yeah. I mean, LeBron's got it now, and for me being a young guy, because when you have the GOAT debate with people, what I've learned over time is it's usually a generational thing. Because when I moved to Philly, actually, we talked about me being at the Inquirer. That was the first time in my life I'd heard Wilt Chamberlain mentioned as the GOAT so much.
He averaged 50. As I say, if you get 50 in the Idlewild Church League, you're pretty good.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's the Michael Jordan generation, like my parents and people like that. And then, now you got a lot of LeBron James people, but yeah, his longevity is just something. I mean, as a forward to play, and he's top 5 in NBA in minutes this season at 37 years old. I mean, that's insane.
So, DeMichael, you're always around this team. What have you seen in terms of competitive nature with these guys when it comes to March Madness? I mean, you've got guys like John Morant with Murray State. You've got some Michigan States in there, a USC, some TCU, obviously. Do you ever see any of it? I mean,
contest,
yeah.
Well, I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
How competitive do these guys get when it comes to their alma mater?
Man, it's hilarious. It's a real thing. I've been at practices where, Desmond Bain was checking the score TCU game in the Big 12 tournament when they came back from 20 down and 1, and he's celebrating. As that's happening. I mean, we sat in the press room. One time I don't know how I would guess an extra probably 20 minutes because Ja was watching the end of the Murray State game in the OVC tournament. And then, Jaren Jackson talking with him, telling him, I had told him, I was like, Michigan lost, but that was I believe that was the Big Ten tournament. And, he let out this big celebration just learning that Michigan lost. And then there's the inner rivalries of, you have guys like, I think it was Zaire Williams who cheered against Murray State just because of the fact that, it's Ja Morant's team, D'Anthony Melton's. So Ja kind of wanted, their teams to lose because they're cheering for his team to lose. Okay, I want your team to lose. And then you got like Brandon Clark, who he's the one guy I wrote a story on because Brandon Clark, Gonzaga, and they played against Memphis. And I was talking to him about that, and he was just saying, I'm not worried. And I thought he gave a real good answer. He was just saying, he's seen how Memphis play, and he's like, they're playing really good basketball, but he wasn't worried about them beating Gonzaga. He's like, I got Gonzaga over anybody. So,
and he should.
I mean, they were the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, so it's no surprise there. But then, of course, Kyle Anderson as well, UCLA, 4 seed. He thinks they're going to the Final Four, especially now since Baylor, who was the 1 in their region, was eliminated. So UCLA gets North Carolina. So he's feeling, a little jolly about that. So, I mean, a lot of these guys' teams are eliminated now. Desmond Bain was on Instagram Live last night, pretty excited. I think he thought TCU had it in the bag. We all probably did, but that one went haywire the last minute. But I'm really looking just Kyle Anderson. You got and then Brandon Clark. A couple of these guys still left.
And for Brandon Clark, if 2 weeks from tonight, one shining moment finally for Gonzaga, he played a critical role in the elevation of that program. I mean, they had rocked along from Santangelo, Dick Al, Morrison, and then to the Brandon Clark years, it was to a new level at Gonzaga.
Yeah, exactly. And he was one of those transfers they got. We've seen, Gonzaga has really, I remember growing up, Gonzaga had to be like really creative with their recruiting. They got a lot of players from like
Kentucky,
Australia
and got Wiltshire.
Yeah, Kyle Wiltshire and players like that. They had to be really creative with the way they recruited guys. And now players want to go to Gonzaga. I mean, they're getting 5 stars, and they're getting Brandon Clark, who was a top transfer when he came from, I believe it was San Jose State. And I mean, they're reeling these guys in.
You know, he loves Mark Few and a lot of people that we don't know. The basketball ops guy, the managers, the trainers, the assistant ADs. There's probably a ton of names that he'd be so happy for them to win it. DeMichael, thank you so much for your time today. We'll see you a bunch over the next week, and then next Monday when you join us, we'll be talking about the game of the year. That one can knock 2 off the magic number with the win, because that would be the win and the loss against Golden State. But have a great week. Thank you.
All right, you too, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much. DeMichael Cole with us every Monday talking the hometown Grizzlies for him, and he's doing an excellent job. So this week for the Grizzlies, Brooklyn on Wednesday. That was the team a lot of people picked to win the East this year. Then Indiana having a tough year. Milwaukee, NBA champions, and a week from tonight, Golden State picked by many to win the West. This next 4 at home, and then after that, only 6 games remain.
Coming down the stretch.
We are coming down the stretch. I didn't know we were that close.
It's March, Brian.
I guess you're right.
The Grizzlies season that began on Wednesday night, October 20th. If you don't think that's a long year.
That's a long year.
As I say, it gets both time changes.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But, hey, maybe soon we won't have to go through that. Maybe so.
I read where they're going to keep it on what we are now, that's the plan, and that we will change this fall. We'll
fall back.
We'll fall back.
Okay.
We will spring up next year, and that's it.
We're for the rest of the time.
That's it. And
wow.
if somebody would tack on another hour next year when we spring up, that's my candidate. That's who I'm for. That's who I go vote for.
That'd be a rough night, though. Springing up 2 hours.
But
not a lot of sleep.
Think about it in June and July.
That's true.
You can tee off after work.
That is true. I mean,
you could tee off at
sun would be going down at like what
9:30.
9:30. Wow.
In June and July before it starts the process back, but that's not going to happen.
No.
We're the only country that changes time.
Are we really?
I think so.
Bryant had the audacity to say he thinks the metric system is applied to the United States before they change times.
No, you said that.
No, I think
don't
Brian
you
said
dare.
it, Brett.
You said that.
Just don't drag me into it. I don't know who said. Now I know when we got it extended, it used to be a tighter time frame than it used to be longer. Rather, we used to would spring or fall back more toward Halloween, like 2 or 3 weeks.
When do we fall back now?
We fall back now like November 6th or so.
Gotcha.
That first weekend in November. And it really confused and disrupted a lot of airlines and flight schedules.
Huh.
For the red eye. I can imagine.
Interesting.
But I'll take it. Just get it past President Biden.
Yeah, you're big on that.
I'd want to be at the bill signing ceremony. If he had handed me one of the pins from it, it'd probably be my
hang it up on the wall.
Probably my greatest achievement. When we come back, we'll talk about everything else we hadn't had a chance to get to that has been going on over the weekend. More from the NBA, a lot from NFL, more college basketball, more of an overview from the tournament. We do that next on Sports Time.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. Roofing and siding, gutters too. We're the pros you can trust to get it done right. Call on us. 5-Ash Roofing, the name to know. 5-Ash Roofing, the only way to go. 5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. 5-Ash Roofing.
Is that not the corniest thing you've ever heard? Can you believe I paid good money for that silly jingle? Well, the experts say make it memorable, and I think I got my money's worth. 5-Ash Roof Services, proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. 5-Ash Roofing, 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5-Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Spring is around the corner. That means the sounds of air conditioners cranking up will be in the air soon. Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. This month only, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier AC unit. No gimmicks, just $1,000 off for the Choate's Early Bird Carrier AC Special. If your AC is in good shape, call us to get your $60 20-point AC tune-up to get your AC cleaned and ready for the warm seasons ahead. Choate's is here for all your cooling, heating, plumbing, air duct cleaning, and commercial needs. Call us today at 347-8086 to take advantage of these early bird specials. Or to schedule online, visit ChoatesHVAC.com. So turn to the experts with Choates. And remember, let our family serve your family.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
The Jeep Celebration event means huge savings at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. 2021 Jeep Renegade Latitude, we Gossett at $369 a month. Need muscle in your life? 2022 Dodge Charger XST, $487 a month. 2022 Ram 1500 Tradesman Quad Cab, $529 a month. And 2021 Fiat 500X Pop, we Gossett at $359 a month. Plus, trade up and we'll give you more for your ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best or shop online anytime at GossettMotorCars.net. If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motorcars.
All 75 months at 3.99, 3,500 down, must finance through Chrysler. Renegade, MPN 28108, MSRP 285. Charger, NH 126,525, MSRP 36,780, 1500, NS 148,242, MSRP 39,010. Pop, MP 944,748, MSRP 28,560. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 3/21/2022. Dealer stock only.
Belly Acres' motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Daria or the Double Daria, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Belly Acres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Belly Acres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Belly Acres.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commission, sales leads, and a great place to work. If you can sell, let us know today. Send your resume to jobs@flynn.com. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flynn.com. Start your great career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Home stretch on this Monday afternoon, 901-360-8255. Get in the zone at AutoZone.
So I just wanted to read one text real quick before we get into what's trending. We had a texter inform us that Ireland does daylight savings time.
Dude,
so,
they really thank you, texter.
Yeah. I don't know much about Ireland.
Spring up, fall back in Ireland.
One of my
Why
best
not?
friends, teammates, is from Ireland.
Really?
Connor O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan, very Irish name.
Very Irish name.
And your alma mater, Texas Tech, in the Sweet 16.
That's right.
Mine, Arkansas, in the Sweet 16. And Brian, I swear.
Mine not so
There
much.
was a point on Saturday. I thought next week we can really have fun with this with all three in. But the Tigers, they did. They made Tiger partisans and proud, and they announced to college basketball. May have gotten started late, but joined the party.
Yeah, and that's exactly, Penny Hardaway came and he said that's what he was going to do, and he did it. And he said after in his post game, I hope we made the city and the school proud.
They
And
did.
I can tell you, definitely did.
They definitely did. It was a rugged ride. Now, as far as being back, I mentioned Bama 2005 when Sports Illustrated declared they were back. They weren't.
Right.
Do we remember the term, the derisive term, Clemsoning?
Yes.
That was de facto, we're close to being back. We don't hear Clemsoning anymore. You know why?
Because they're back.
Because they're back.
They got back. Texas football, Tennessee football. Here's one that's back. Five-Slam Majama and Houston Cougar basketball. They're back.
They're way back. I mean, I think we need to give Kelvin Sampson a lot of credit. We talked, I know earlier in the season when they lost some of their players, we talked about, I don't know how far they'll go. I know I picked UAB over them. Don't know why I did that. I'm pretty sure Gabe picked UAB. I don't want to talk for Gabe. I don't remember what you picked.
I had Houston in the 16.
Did you really?
It's one of my few bracket highlights.
Good for you. But, I mean, to be able to get that far, you sure do.
Yeah.
To be able to get that far with losing two of your leading scorers is remarkable.
And our friend Darian Newsom, my witness. One day I'm here and I'm in there bothering him while he's trying to work as I am wont to do. I'm sorry I do you guys like that. I know y'all are very busy. And I told him, I said, I think the Tigers, that they've awakened Houston with those two pastings.
Well, and I think another thing is I think a lot of people, me included, really saw most of Houston against Memphis. And so you're kind of going about how you view them as how, well, Memphis ran all through them. And so, and I don't think that's fair at all to do to a Houston team like that because they're a really good team. I think it's just they're very, shorthanded. When you have a team that runs the pace of play that the Tigers do, you're able to kind of wear them down like they did in those first two meetings. And there's not a lot of teams that are going to be able to do that.
We haven't done it in a long time because we're just so busy. As we get into a slower portion of the summer, which when does that really happen? We will do it occasionally on a Friday afternoon at 5:30. We like to call it High Hard Ones. I'm going to throw this little high hard one at y'all. Who will end up being better, Deshaun Watson as a Cleveland Brown or Carlos Correa as a Minnesota Twin?
I have an answer. I think Correa.
Really?
And that's
3
based
years.
That's based on team success, though. Well, because it seems like the Twins, and maybe I'm going all in this year on that happening, because the Twins seem to be also going all in on this season, really being one that they can make a difference. And they've done that a couple times now with going to get Donaldson and then sending him away. So it seems like the Twins are all in, and I don't see the Browns. I mean, talk about teams that you never know if they're back, the Browns.
Well, and Jay Morgan, I'm going to take something I heard you say this morning with John Harden. You said that everyone always talks about the Browns having those weapons and having
very risky to ever quote the happy hour.
That's true. That's true. That's why I thought about it before I did it.
I kid.
But you were talking about how everyone has always talked they're back. It's just Baker's the issue. So I think if that is true, if they can work those weapons, I'm gonna go with Deshaun Watson.
When's he hit the field?
That's a good question.
Yeah, what if he out for 6 games, 7 games? You never know.
That's true.
Now,
what do you think, Brett?
I think it's Deshaun Watson because it's just going to be 3 years. Correa's using the Twins so bad.
Absolutely.
Is there like an option for him to get out of that early?
Every year. He has an option to leave after every
I don't think he'll be there
season.
that long.
No.
What a deal.
Hard one number 2. If you had been the Cardinals, would you have taken that Correa deal?
I wanted Story. I'll say that. But
I wanted Story real bad. We talked about that for a while.
But you didn't get him.
Not at all.
I would have taken it.
Yeah.
I think the Cardinals. This may be
they need a shortstop.
But it definitely need a shortstop. Need some razzmatazz at the box office.
That's true.
Because the Cardinals are built on 40,000 people
Mm-hmm.
81 times. That's the dynamic. That's the math. That's the calculus.
Yeah.
Now, last year, COVID, 2 years ago, COVID. But in 2019, there was some fudge factor on a lot of those attendances.
Mm-hmm.
That, I would be there, and there, you'd hear 41,212. It's insulting to my intelligence. I know better than that.
Based on what's sold, probably is all it is.
I would beg sports, please give us two numbers. Give us the sold and give us the rear ends and the seats.
I think that's a great idea. I'd love to see that.
No, but general managers
wouldn't
because they love fudging.
Well, in colleges, I know there's a lot of times colleges do the same thing. It's in all sports where
All of them. Everywhere, everybody fudges,
Mm-hmm.
and it's insulting to my intelligence to tell me wherever I am that you're saying it's 80% full when I know it's closer to 40.
Brett, I wanted to ask you, talking about in terms of teams that you talk about are perpetually back. One that is doing well in basketball right now, University of Miami football, always perpetually back. A couple years ago, they beat Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Oh, the U is back. They're always perpetually back.
You know one coming up this year, and it will start opening day for one, maybe both teams in this one. On Sunday of Labor Day weekend this year in New Orleans, LSU plays Florida State. Mike Norvell against Brian Kelly. The winner of that game, both sides were back.
That's exactly right.
And I just beg people, slow down on that.
The roll.
Show me, don't tell me.
Yeah. Huh.
And when I heard Coach Hardaway's comments right after the game of, we're back, I'm thinking, no, Coach.
Don't do that.
It's no time for more sales.
Right.
You've got the fire back. You've got most of the fans back.
A lot of momentum, yeah.
And a lot of great momentum. It's going the right way. Now's the time to sell, time to go to work.
Yeah.
More work. We saw how what we can do, more work. No more smoke.
Yeah.
More flame.
I agree. I want to go back to because I was thinking about something with the Cardinals. Do you think, you've been talking about Albert Pujols for a while. I mean, is that a name that could sell? Do you think that's still an option for the Cardinals?
Well, it would. Gabe is right on the production front. He is right on let's make a move that wins ball games.
Right.
I think you can get enough out of Albert Pujols, especially with the expanded playoffs, that you can win enough games and have that symmetry and have that box office. Yes, it would. Why can't the Cardinals do both, Brian? I mean, I know that there's a lot of rumors the Cardinals are for sale. Mike Shannon, sadly, in the last days, let it out that Bill DeWitt had told him the Cardinals are for sale. And if they are, we know every group on the way out, they're not wanting to spend any money. Because where you really make your money in professional sports is on the flip.
Yeah.
On the sale. And they're going to make billions.
Oh, yeah.
From what they paid the brewery for that team in fall of 95 to what it's worth now, most notably the ballpark that was largely taxpayer financed, they're going to make I have no problem with those people making money, but on the way out, don't be too frugal.
Right.
Here's your Albert Pujols argument. Against lefties, still OPS 1,000. Still's got 1,000 OPS against lefties. Bats 300 against lefties still.
Wow.
Give
Does
me
he
a
really?
war.
Yeah, it's probably not nearly as good.
No, but for me, now this will look foolish. My advocacy for Albert Pujols will look foolish that at the end of the year, it's 100 at bats, 217, 6 homers, and 41 RBI, and he was hurt a lot of times.
Right.
I mean, was that really what was that last weekend of the year honoring Albert on Friday night, Adam Wainwright on Saturday, and Yachty on Sunday? Was that really worth it?
I mean, if you can get a good deal, maybe, but I don't know if you can.
And
not good enough, maybe.
And now with the expanded playoffs, I think it just makes being the manager that much tougher.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't make those playoffs, we can get somebody that can.
Yeah. It just means more opportunity and more opportunity to fail as an and what do you think? I mean, Mormal, what do you think he'll do in his first? I mean, How do you think he'll fare in his first season as the Cardinals manager?
Well, he should be fine. It was a team that was in the playoffs last year. If you blinked, you missed them, but they were in it. One thing Mike Schilt did, and I'm told with the help of assistant coach Ollie Marmol, is the Cardinals got better defensively.
Oh, yeah.
The last few years.
5 Gold Gloves.
That was a disaster the last year of Mike Matheny and even into the first year of Mike Schilt. So they got better there. What does it take now to get into the playoffs? 85 wins? 84 wins?
Yeah.
Fewer than ever.
That's a great point, Jay Morgan.
That's as good as I can say, honestly.
If somebody gets in with a losing record, somebody
Oh,
will
boy. Eventually, yeah. It probably will be this year,
I'm
honestly.
surprised that didn't happen in that 60-game season, someone getting with a losing record.
All right, through these games, through the NCAA tournament, through right now, give me your one shining moment. Best moment of the tournament so far, Brian.
Can it be like on the court, off the court?
It
Like
can be anything you want.
I'm going with the Indiana cheerleader hopping up there and getting the ball out.
That was fun.
That was that has to be mine as well. I have never seen anything like that before, you know?
And then just the roar of the crowd
Exactly.
after. Oh,
No, great
amazing.
moment.
It's got to be St. Peter's for me.
That is true.
To take down mighty Kentucky, and it is among the mightiest. And now for John Calipari, 13 years, 1 title. That's great at a lot of places. Also, at that place, that is exactly what Joe B. Hall was after 13 years. I texted someone that I know is very close to John Calipari and is very pro John Calipari. I did not dislike John Calipari when he was here. I mostly don't dislike him now. Just some of his stuff gets really old. And 1 out of 13, that's acceptable at a lot of places. Not there.
No.
They did not sign up for all that goes with him to have 1 out of 13. And down the stretch in that game, it was like his team had never seen a zone.
And that's become a problem. Free throw shooting was also a problem.
All of his problems
they all came to light. And I just, I love Oscar Tshiebwe. I just don't. I think they relied on him too much in that game, and the guard play just didn't really give you what you needed against the Peacocks.
And also, probably the biggest thing I can't stand from the pro Calipari crowd is invariably when they want to, in the same sentence, mention him with Nick Saban. There's not a comparison. It's laughable to mention John Calipari with one.
Right.
He's shining 1 trophy. Nick Saban doesn't have enough shining stuff to shine all of his trophies. Calipari's working on 1, and this person I was texting with, he said, he let this one get away. I contend now, after 13 years, that while was an upset and very much of an anomaly, the real outlier in the Calipari years was the one he won.
Yeah. I mean, it's only 1, so yeah.
It's the only one.
Has to be an outlier.
And that was with Anthony Davis and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
That's a good team.
Terrence Jones, and they blitzed through the tournament. When he comes up short, that's more the trend than winning it. He's won it once.
Yeah.
Once.
That's true.
Same number of times as Jimmy Valvano. Same number of times as Raleigh Massimino. Same number as Joe B. Hall, Rick Pitino, and Tubby Smith at Kentucky. When people want to tell me Calipari is one of the greats of all time, he is in the Hall of Fame, and he has been a really good coach. But one of the greats of all time, he's not the third. He may be third best ever at Kentucky. The Baron won. Rick Pitino too.
Wow. You make good points. What do you think? And I know you probably don't see this as much because it's more of a social media thing. I mean, it seems like every year when they come up
You don't
short.
think I watch TikTok?
Well, I think you do. I just don't know. I don't know if you saw it. I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. Every time it comes up short, especially this time against St. Peter's, Kentucky fans don't have much respect for St. Peter's. But they always call for his head. I mean, let's fire Cal. Let's fire Cal.
That's crazy.
I'm just making sure you're getting there. You're getting.
No, you're not. You're not firing him for a multitude of reasons. Notwithstanding the biggest being $50 million goodbye check, and that he's going to have you at least in the mix. But they don't want to just be in the mix. They've been in the mix enough, but they're not going to fire him. Who would you hire? If Mr. Big Kentucky Booster said, "I'll give him $100 million clear out today," who do you hire? I have someone.
Who?
If you've got a booster that can do all that, and they can't,
No.
they can't. I'm not for that. But if you can throw that kind of money around, him out, Brad Stevens in.
If he takes the job. Because that's such a good deal what he has. I mean, he has full reign over the Celtics.
Yeah. He does. And none of that's going to happen. It was pure hypothetical and speculation. When we come back, we speculate. We have more hypothesis when we have Taco Bell Crunch Time. That's next.
You have opinions?
Well, you got to have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
The Family Leisure family is growing and they want you to help them grow even more. Family Leisure is now hiring for multiple positions. They're looking for self-motivated, goal-oriented people to come and join their family. Some of the positions include sales for swimming pools, hot tubs, and patio furniture. There's sales and associates for chemicals. Parts and service department associates are needed. Service technicians, you got to have a valid driver's license, and cashiers are needed too. Family Leisure is also looking to add to their installation crews for building above-ground pools. Send your resume to Family Leisure now, 2120 Whitten Road, Memphis, Tennessee, 38133, or email memphis@familyleisure.com. You can also call 901-371-9090. So come and join the family at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun and you all come together.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
If you have damage to your home and have your insurance carrier involved, you need a great contractor. You also need a team that has seen claims of all shapes and sizes, residential or commercial. After our inspection, we'll share our findings and give you our professional opinion. Some people say you get what you pay for. However, our opinion is free. Trust the name you can depend on, like the tens of thousands of families Brian and I have served over the past 20 years here in the Mid-South. Brian Elder Roofing. We'll measure your roof from outer space and share our team's experience for your property and claim. Repaired roofs, replacement roofs, big roofs, tiny roofs, insurance roofs, flat roofs, TPO roofs, asphalt roofs, tile roofs, slate roofs, metal roofs. If your roof needs some love, call me, 901-867-0303 for Brian Elder Roofing and Contracting.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Are you ready for the Gossett Mitsubishi Spring Sales Event? It's on at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Need 41 MPG highway with gas prices that keep soaring? We got you covered in 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage G4. $189 a month or $14,999. 5 seats, 27 MPG combined. 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. $299 a month or $23,037. Plus, redesigned 2022 Outlander with 7 passenger seating and 27 MPG combined. $359 a month or $26,998. And get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Gossett got it at Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 72 months, 500 military rebate, G4, NHF 03943, MSRP 16985, Sport, NU 006-786, MSRP 25407, Outlander NZO 6388, MSRP 292, includes all rebates and incentives, PF 695, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/22, dealer stock only.
I'm with John Burgos in the alley at the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see you. How are things at the restaurant?
Brett, things in the restaurant are fine, but like all restaurateurs will tell you, things are still not back to normal. Supply chains are interrupted. One week we can't find charcoal. Another week we're short on ribs. Another week they can't find the plastic bottles to fill our sauce jars with. I've watched in awe as our fellow Memphis restaurateurs have worked their way through these past months.
John, always new and exciting things at the Rendezvous.
People know we have Greek salad, vegetarian red beans and rice, and vegetarian nachos. But now we have desserts. Miss Barbara of O Taste and See has individually wrapped some wonderful desserts. We have key lime pie, chess pie, chocolate chess pie, and pecan pie. Not pecan pie, pecan pie. We also have a new twist at the Rendezvous. We now have outdoor dining dining. It's in the side alley along the Rendezvous, not the one in the front. And depending on the weather and depending on staffing, please call ahead to make sure we're open. And we hope it becomes a mainstay here at the Rendezvous.
Mr. Charlie Virgos' world-famous Rendezvous in the alley in downtown Memphis.
There's an institution in East Memphis that I love talking about. It's the Spirit Shop at 4848 Poplar Avenue, right down the street from Clark Tower, and it looks like a log cabin. It's been around Memphis since 1969 with a family-owned, friendly, knowledgeable sales staff that is just a wonderful place to go. I love going in and talking wine or bourbons, and they've got such great selection. So if you've not visited the Spirit Shop in a while, it's been remodeled. You'll love what you see when you need spirits. Tell Eddie Wollo said hello.
Knotfest Roadshow is back.
Of the moderate me.
This Tuesday, FedEx Forum, featuring Slipknot.
I'll never kill myself to save my soul.
Plus special guests in this moment and wage war. On sale now. Buy tickets at livenation.com. Visit NotFestRoadshow.com for more. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello,
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
So, Brett, you know I love conspiracy theories.
I do too.
Okay.
Conspiracy, speculation, hypotheticals.
Oh, yeah.
It's
All
talk
of them.
radio's fundamentals, isn't it?
Exactly. So, what I learned today is that Tennessee got a big-time quarterback commitment.
The next Peyton Manning.
That's what people are saying is what you told me. I had not heard that yet. I'm kind of glad I hadn't heard that yet. I'm going to butcher this name. Nicholas Imaleva just committed to Tennessee. Now, here's the conspiracy theory. Stuart Mandel tweeted a while ago that a 2023 recruit signed a deal with a school's NIL collective today that could pay him more than $8 million. If you look at who the attorney was that signed that, he's from the same city, Long Beach, California, that Nicholas is from quarterback. And
money talks.
Nicholas was on campus at Tennessee for his official visit when this happened.
A lot of people want to speculate that that's for Arch Manning. I think you're closer than it would be for Arch Manning. I learned today, well, rather it was confirmed. I questioned all year, did the SEC really have a go-for-it team? I said I feared that it was more like last year Big Ten, get a lot of teams in, but nobody really make a lot of noise. But one team that's making noise, the only team left from the SEC, and that's Eric Musselman. And next year, with what the class they have signed, they can go for it next year. This is not the go for it year this year, but it can be next year for the Razorbacks.
What I could have done without is these injuries to the St. Louis Cardinals pitching staff. Jake Flaherty and Alex Reyes both won't be available for opening day. And this kind of opens up. Who are they going to call in? Maybe Jake Woodford, whose father is a huge fan of mine. I'm being extremely sarcastic. Or maybe Matthew Liberatore. Maybe they could call him up for opening day and put him in the rotation. It'll be interesting to see what moves they will make, but obviously not having Jack Flaherty for opening day definitely hurts.
Even with complaining about the Cardinals not being really in the bidding for Correa, even with the injuries, at least we have baseball.
Amen.
I'll take it. Even if we have the ghost runner on second to start extra innings. I could have done without. He's been everywhere, man. I said it earlier, Charlie Moore. He's at the U now. Well, Chuck Moore, he's played everywhere. I'm for the player empowerment and freedom, but this is a little bit mercenary. This is a lot mercenary. He's played college basketball for 5 years, 1 year at Cal, 2 years at DePaul, 1 year at Kansas, and now this year at the U. He's played in 30 games or more in every year there at those places.
What we're going to watch tonight, I know you're going to talk about some NBA, but I got to give some love to the college basketball games tonight because we've got Florida Gulf Coast and Coastal Carolina. Would you like to know what tournament that is?
That is in the CBI?
Close, the Basketball Classic. We also have CBI games tonight. There's one later tonight, Abilene Christian and Ohio.
Last year's darling, Abilene Christian.
Exactly. Maybe they can pull it off again tonight against Ohio. I'll be watching that. I don't know about you.
9 NBA matchups tonight. Big boy matchup in the East for the Heat at 76ers. And here comes the Celtics for the East 2 seed. Only 2 back in the all-important loss column. Want to thank David Cobb, Shelby Mass, and DeMichael Cole, and also Farrah J. Morgan Harder. For Bryant Dacus, I'm Brett. Thank you for listening. We'll be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock for another edition of Sports Time.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous